Welcome to Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Good afternoon to you all. You're watching Season AY. I'm doing the stream because I don't trust when I'm doing this on Facebook. It is no longer reliable. So I'm just trying to help grow the platform on YouTube. So if you want to join us and see what we're doing, join us on YouTube live. Subscribe to Season AY, hit notification button, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people. What's happening right now is that Facebook is really being very difficult with us. So for that reason, we are not using it as a platform. We do not feel it's a platform that we can necessarily work with. But we are on Oduduwa TV Radio live on YouTube, and of course on Citizen AY on YouTube. So please subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube and Oduduwa TV Radio 2. Those two. Subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. And here's one more thing on YouTube. We'd really like you to help us do. We are close to 3,000 subscribers. We need to get to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're about over 2,500, something like that. And we would love to get to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you go ahead and subscribe to Season AY on YouTube, we very much appreciate and support. Love that support. We're 2,500 and something on YouTube, on Citizen AY. So help us grow that platform. And of course, it is Oduduwa TV Radio 2. As I've said before, we do have over 9,000 subscribers on Oduduwa TV Radio, but Facebook, YouTube have demonetized. They have demonetized our Oduduwa TV Radio platform. So we are creating the backup channel, Oduduwa TV Radio 2. We would love that if you could subscribe to us on YouTube to help us grow that platform once again. We've only got just about a couple of hundred, maybe 100 or something on Oduduwa TV Radio 2. So we'd really like your support in growing that platform. Good afternoon and welcome to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I really wanted to touch on one or two things today. That's why I'm coming and touch on things. So good afternoon, welcome. If you're joining us, you are watching Citizen AY live, and thank you very much. Those of you on Facebook, to be able to get a fuller experience of what we're doing, we'd really like you to join us on YouTube. Join Citizen AY on YouTube, subscribe, hit notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. Help us grow the platform on YouTube. Facebook, the numbers you can see, we have over 100,000 followers on YouTube, Facebook, and 119,000 followers. And Facebook have reduced the numbers. The notification has been switched off. The numbers of people seeing me right now is no more than 3 out of the 120,000 followers. And that tells you all you need to know about Facebook. So we're trying to grow that on YouTube. So please, if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY on YouTube, go ahead and do so. So today's topic, we're going to go into in-depth detail about one area in particular. We're going to go into the area of the subsidy, and then it will lead us into the area of the need for us to understand that when we are spending dollars, on Nigerian soil, we are actually doing our own economy and our ability to build the roads, the water, the light, the schools, the bridges, the healthcare. We're doing it serious harm, because by spending dollars, it means that we are putting money into system that will accept dollars on African soil, on Nigerian soil. And by so doing, we waste Nigerian money on purchasing on Nigerian soil dollars, which does no good to our own economy. It does no good. We are only giving benefits to America as a country, and I will go into details about that later on. But before we go ahead to do that, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you are of course watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We will try and do as much as we can as possible to give you as much information as we get, and very verifiable information that talks about things that we have researched, and we always speak truth to power. The platform where we speak truth to power is, of course, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Help us grow the platform on YouTube. And of course, if you can, if people are joining us on Facebook, you're very welcome to join us. But please, it's more productive to join us on YouTube. Subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Now, what I wanted to do in all of this, I don't know what's going on there. Sorry about that. I'm trying to take that noise away. I'm hoping to get it. So now, sorry about that noise, that background noise. Those of you on YouTube and Citizen AY on YouTube and Ududwati Radio. What we will do right now, we're going to go into this detail about the refinery. Now, there has been a report that came out, and I don't know if you guys saw it. Issa Yuguda, yesterday, he came out and he was accusing a lot of people. NNPC, he put the blame for the fuel subsidy on the doors of the former President George Goodluck Jonathan, and of course, President Buhari, particularly President Buhari, for 8 years, been in place. And the Minister for Petroleum, whilst billions upon trillions of naira was literally stolen from the people. And in those 8 years, President Buhari failed to actually get the refineries, the 4 refineries that we have, the state refineries. I'm talking of the ones in the 2 in Port Harcourt, and then the 2, one in Warri and one in Kaduna. President Buhari failed to actually get those refineries working. Instead, they gave more and more and more and more money to marketeers, to subsidies, and which are fake subsidies. And one of the things that came out yesterday, those of you, and this is why we are going to, I urge you all, if you're watching this and you haven't seen this on, and you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY, please do so. I'll be playing a video which I did yesterday that really went into detail. Issa Yuguda spoke at length, and where he actually exposed the fact that the NNPC were charging for subsidies for oil that they never produced, that wasn't even, if there's no pipeline in those areas. They were charging for subsidies for something for service they never provided. You know, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. And as we all know, subsidy itself is a scam. It is a scam. The people who are taking our oil are the same people in government. We are taking this opportunity to call on President Tinubu. Yes, we are glad that you've put a stop to the subsidy. We are glad you put a stop to the subsidy. But that is just one part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle, President Tinubu, is to now ensure that the money that has been given to be paying for subsidy, that money is plowed. At least a large percentage is plowed to fixing all the 4 refineries on ground now. We need the refineries to be fixed on ground. That is the only way that the misery that our people are suffering right now will end. So we are calling on President Tinubu. We know he means well. It was a good move to have put a stop to the fuel subsidy. It's a very good move. It's one we applaud. But the other side of it, the problem now is this. If you just remove the fuel subsidy and say, right, there's no more subsidy, it means, President Tinubu, that the price of the fuel is going to go up and up and up, because now that you've taken away that fraudulent market, then the cost of still importing of the fuel is going to get, and the people having to buy it at the pump is going to get higher. And there is no support in place for the citizens. Now the citizens will feel the full effect of everything, because we know, as we all know, the subsidy is a scam. But now that you've taken away all of that, now people say, well, you know what, there's no subsidy, so they will all use that as a way to increase the price. That's what's going to happen. Either way, we the citizens have been paying. When the fake subsidy was put in, the citizens have been paying higher prices. When the fake subsidy is now removed, they will use it as an excuse. So you know what? The government took away subsidy, so the price is going to go up. Even when it comes to the oil that is going to be produced inside this Dangote refinery, and I don't happen to think it shouldn't be called Dangote refinery. It shouldn't. It should be called the state refinery, because the money he only provided 800,000 naira and $800,000, and we provided the bulk of the money for the state provided the bulk of the money to build the refinery that is in Eko. It should be called Eko refinery. This is public money that's being used to be given to a monopoly. Dangote is nothing more than a monopoly. President Tinubu, I'm not saying this out of jealousy or hatred, but the fact of the matter is that I've done a report before, whereby we've discussed at length the fact that Dangote, and there were talks about over 2.7 trillion naira provided for Dangote to be able to have that refinery almost finished, and it's still not done. That is public money. And we all know, sadly, President Tinubu, we all know what has happened in the sugar industry. We know what has happened in the cement industry. Every industry. Ademiju, Olubumi Agbeni. Thank you, Agbeni. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Amen. I appreciate you, my brother. Please subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Help us grow the platform. Thank you so much. So, what is happening is that Dangote is a monopoly. Dangote is simply a monopoly, and we cannot sustain a monopoly when people are starving. People are hungry. A monopoly is not what we need. What we need is to allow our businesses to flourish, to allow our people to grow in their own land. Professor Howard Nicholas, the professor in some sort of studies, has said that the plan for the entire West Wall, and even the Chinese, is to ensure that we Africans never have any manufacturing, because over 30% of the resources of the world, mineral resources required in the world, is in Africa. It's in Africa. And they don't want us to be able to be independent enough to compete. When Nigerians are ready to, we vote for digital brain, not wicked cabals. For Lake Ojo, yes, thank you very much. Yes, exactly. So now, President Tinubu, we call on you. We call on you, please. What must happen now is that we need to have those 4 refineries. The Warri refinery, the 2 in Port Harcourt, the Kaduna refinery, those 4 refineries, we need them to be funded so that they can start functioning. That is what must happen. So yes, President Tinubu, yes, great work. You've stopped the fraudulent subsidy. But the funds that are being paid, those funds, we need to actually now have a task force. We are calling on President Tinubu to urgently set up a task force. A task force whose task will be 4. There should be 4 executives that are appointed by the government, reliable people, can-do attitude. There should be 4 heads of each of those that will be appointed to oversee and give regular updates on the refurbishing and updating of the refineries to start processing immediately. That's what must happen. Because every time we import oil, we are wasting money, not only in terms of the importation of the oil, but do you know that we are also reducing and destroying our own financial system based on the naira? Many of these people who are calling themselves marketeers, they don't accept naira They want people to go and change money into dollars to buy the oil from them that is brought in. This is criminal. This is crazy. This is our economy is totally upside down, President Tinubu. I'm sure you are aware. I am sure you are aware. But one of the things that we will need you to do right now, President Tinubu, is we urge you, the Kaduna refinery, the 2 refineries in Port Harcourt, the refinery in Warri, appoint consultants, proven can-do consultants that will be appointed to oversee the refloating to get them functioning immediately. So when I say functioning, there are some of them that are working already. They can simply repair the things that need to be repaired so that they can increase the rate of oil that is being processed, because right now they are producing, they're refining very, very little or nothing. So what we need is for them to start repairing it, to do the immediate repair work so that they can increase the rate, the amount of oil processed in each of those refineries on a month-by-month basis. President Tinubu, we know you can do this. We know you can do this. We know you have a can-do attitude. You have a can-do attitude. You are the man that brought up. You took over Lagos, and we know the kind of good work you did in Lagos. So we don't have a problem with your capacity to be able to do things. We have every confidence in yourself. What we are concerned with, however, is that we do not want you to allow those who have been part of the system, who have defrauded the citizens, to get in your way and prevent you from easing the pains of the citizens. President Tinubu, we are calling on you. We know that you have a plan. Everything that you've been doing up to this point so far it's very good. You are really trying to communicate with the people. You understand the pains that we're suffering. You've the student loan thing. We would very much like it to be free education, but it's a step in the right direction. Maybe in a few years, maybe 3-4 years time, we can revisit that one again and make it a free education like it once was back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. Maybe that's, but the fact that it's now a student loan, we applaud that. So there are certain things that the fact that you stop the fuel subsidy, we applaud that. But there is a gap right now. Our people are suffering on ground. So we are calling on you, President Tinubu. We urge you to be bold enough to call out the names that Issa Yunusa called. Issa Yunusa called out certain names. Let me see if I can get the video out. See if I can find one or two of the videos. You may not hear it if you're joining me on Facebook, but if you're on YouTube, go and subscribe to Zenewa on YouTube, and you can get a clearer, a better breakdown of what I'm trying to say here. I'll try to play it for those of you who are on Facebook, but I will do this first. Issa Yunusa really gave down a detailed, no holds barred. He was saying that the fuel subsidy is a scam. Now we know that, but he even said that people who are doing the scam wanted to put an end to it because they were earning too much money. I kid you not. This is what the man said. This is what that is how bad this is, President Tinubu. That is how bad this system is. So we are calling on you. We know that you have the intention, the will to actually help our people, to help the people who voted you in, to help the entire nation, to stop the poverty to stop us being the poverty capital of the world. But your will needs to be backed with concrete action, President Tinubu. And we urge you to be forthright, to go forward and call on and expose those who looted from us. We urge you to let our judiciary let it take its course on them. Do not listen to anybody who will tell you, oh, by the way, oh, I'm so and so person, so for that reason, let's look the other way whilst this is happening, pretend this and that. No, we need you to actually stand for the people now. It is really important. We're calling on you, President Tinubu, to stand for the people. You, by the elections and you being the president as it is right now, we know that you're a man that wants to renew the hope. Renewed hope is your mantra. And we believe in that, renewed hope. And the way you've started well. There are certain things that you're looking at. Emefiele is in custody. Bawa is in custody. There need to be more people. NNPC has a lot of questions to answer. How is it that Mele Kyari has got the company have got 3 billion within just in July, from July 2022 to date? How is it? Where did that funding for those funds come from? And if they are getting those funds, why is it that those funds, we the citizens of this nation, let me give you a quote, President Tinubu. We the citizens, to whom sovereignty belongs, yes, we are the ones to whom the sovereignty belongs, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority, President Tinubu. And we are asking you now, our people are in pain. They are suffering. They can hardly eat 3 square meals a day. Some of them, if they're lucky. If they eat 1 meal a day, they're doing great. If they eat 1 meal a day, President Tinubu, they're doing they're kings. But we are in a land where we have infinite mineral resources. These are resources that have been taken for over 100 years by the colonials, and now by the people who have put themselves in positions of power, the cabals, who are siphoning away the resources that should be benefiting the people of Nigeria, to whom sovereignty belongs, and impoverishing the people. So we are calling on you, President Tinubu, please, your first priority right now is to plow funds. But don't just plow funds. We need you to be very transparent in how those refineries are going to be restructured and repaired and be made working immediately. It has to be transparent. We need you to name 4 competent people. We know you have you have the know and the gravitas. We need you to name 4 competent people with reliable team around them to begin immediately to get those refineries, those 4 oil refineries, the Kaduna, the Port Harcourt 1 and 2, the Warri refineries, to get them working as a matter of urgency, to plug the gap. Because if we do not have a functioning refinery, what will simply happen is that, yes, now you've removed the refinery, the subsidy, people will be paying for oil from abroad. We are going to spend more of the money that we need for infrastructure on importing oil. That will mean that when it's imported, those who import those oil will now pass the price on to the consumers, when we have the oil already. So what is really happening now, President Tinubu, is that if we do not fix those refineries, it means that we are preventing our people from having jobs. We are exporting our jobs outside the country. Because if those refineries are not working, guess what? The oil will be sold out to countries where they will refine it and then import it. That is taking away millions of jobs from Nigerians. I get it. Listen, I am being pragmatic here. I'm being President Tinubu. I am for Yoruba Nation, and I will not relent in Yoruba Nation. It is on my cap. I'll be very, very clear about that. It is on my cap, President Tinubu. It is on my cap. I'm a Yoruba Nation man. But I believe in achieving that via peaceful means. No other means. Through negotiation, through the referendum, through all of that. That is what I believe in. But right now, Yoruba people are suffering. Biafrans are suffering. Middle Belt are suffering. Hausas we are all suffering. Over 190 million people are suffering, President Tinubu. So we are calling on you to be bold enough to take this critical step. The first part of the puzzle you've done. You've put a stop to fuel subsidy. Great stuff. Great move. But the other part of it must be done. When you plug the gap, when you get the refineries working, you are creating jobs for our people, President Tinubu. I'm sure you know all this. I'm sure you are very well aware of this, President Tinubu. I'm sure of that. So I am appealing to your good sense, to your humanity, to your commitment, to the oath that you took on office to serve and protect the citizens. I'm appealing to that. I'm appealing to you to please show clear leadership when it comes to getting those refineries working. Begin now. Get a task force in place. Those task force headhunt 3 to 4 for each of the positions, 2 to 3 people, 2 to 3 people each. That will be the people from which you will choose the head of the refinery, the task force to repair and get the refineries functioning immediately. Because every single day that those refineries are not working, we are losing billions of money. We are losing billions of money in 2 fronts. One, the money that we are going to spend to import the oil that we have, that we could process. That's a waste of money. The money that we are losing from the fact that people within Nigeria could be able to create jobs and to be able to spend in our own economy, internal economy. We are losing money on 2 fronts, President Tinubu. So we are calling on you. Those 4 refineries, they must be fixed. They must be repaired. Let me see if I can get you. I'll play you this thing. I want to play one thing. I might see if I can play it out and you can hear it. I want you to hear what the man said.
Good morning and welcome
So
to
let's
Season
forward
1
it
of
on.
where we speak truth.
So 1 second.
Yeah.
From Kaduna,
Let me just.
government didn't have the political will.
So they have not got the political will. They said.
I was
Listen.
privileged to serve as the chairman of the
One second.
subcommittee 2008 and 2009 on the economic meltdown. I was one of the members, 3 of us governors and
So
some other members.
well, this is Issa Yunusa speaking now.
So
he's-
I was to.
He's saying that the government lacks
committee on
economic will, a political will.
everything about
Under Buhari.
regime, and then the scam in the subsidy review.
Listen.
Committee. And of course, since then, recommendations were made,
Listen.
which unfortunately were never implemented, and it's very sad. I'm sad to let Nigerians know that from what I saw, we came across situations where subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed.
Can you listen?
Subsidy claim on pipelines that never existed. Why are these people not arrested?
Either finished product.
Why have these people who have been claiming this, why have they not been arrested?
So you heard him say subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed. So we are saying this. This is Issa Yunusa. This is an APC man. We are saying this because we need our people to know, and I will come on to what we, the citizens, how we can participate in this process, because there's still a job for us to do as citizens. It's not to just call on President Tinubu alone. We, the citizens, we have a role to play in this, in fixing the mess that the crooks, the politicians, the cabals have created, and that they put a noose around our necks. We need to collectively work together to remove that news. Now, let's carry on.
I mean, this is going to test. This should be, however, this is going to be.
Let me hear now.
Let's play this one here if I can. I'll bring it.
On the economic meltdown, I was one of the members. 3 of us governors and some other members with Mr. President as chairman. So I chaired the committee on subsidy.
You see?
And everything about the subsidy regime, and then the scam in the subsidy regime was discovered by my committee.
Okay.
And of course, since then, recommendations were made, which unfortunately were never implemented, and it's very sad. I'm sad to let Nigerians know that from what I saw, we came across situations where subsidy was claimed on pipelines that never existed. You just claim that I would have pumped X amount of, either finished products or crude,
You see?
maybe from Kaduna, from Warri to Kaduna.
NNPC making this claim?
Of course, who else is doing it?
Oh dear.
Those that pump
NNPC.
and
So you see that NNPC is implicit in this corruption, in this large-scale corruption, in this. So all the former MDs of NNPC and the petroleum minister, principally Tinubu and Buhari, has questions to answer. They have questions to answer on what is going on. So we're not just saying this for the sake of saying. Again, President Tinubu, you've started well. The student loan is a clear indication of your intent. Intent to have a governance working for the people, improving the lives of the people. Your pronouncements and the key positions that you put certain people with certain know-hows is showing us that you have a direction in which you're traveling. And that direction is the one in which increasingly you are going to repair the trust between the people and the government. You are working to do that. I emphasize, you alone cannot do this on your own. You have the will. But unfortunately, within your government, President Tinubu, there are people you have to hold to account because they were part of APC. You have to hold them to account for the sake of the people. Make them accountable for the losses suffered by this nation on the fuel subsidy. President Tinubu, we know that you're a can-do man. We know that you can do this. We want you to put the people's interest as first and foremost and begin to show the way that no longer will the cabals have a foothold in our governance, because the cabals are running. They have been running up to now. They have been running our nation and impoverishing the people, and nobody has been speaking for the people. Nobody. We can see the steps you're taking, President Tinubu, to speak to our people, to begin to redress the balance, to begin to help them. Very clear. You could have reversed and said, no, we'll keep the subsidy because I'm in charge. But you could see that the subsidy, based on what Issa Yunusa said, NNPC is heavily involved in this scam. So, President Tinubu, we would like you to really call in those who are heading the NNPC right now and get them in for questioning. The funds that have gone missing, the billions upon billions gone missing, they have to account for it. And I happen to say at this juncture, President Tinubu, our focus would be for you. We would really like you to work out something whereby 80 to 90% of everything stolen is brought back into economy, because our people are suffering. So if whatever needs to be done to achieve that, let that be done right now. Let that be done right now, because this is billions upon billions. And we need to act fairly fast, because I'm going to come on to the other side of it and talk about what is happening in terms of the dollar. The de-dollarization is a big threat to our economy because of our over-reliance on dollars. The big threat to our economy is the de-dollarization of the world economy. And we have yet to be clear in the position that we are taking. But we will come and talk about that a bit later on. Right now, what we need to be doing is stopping the drain of our money that's been spent on importing oil that we can process inside Nigeria. There are people, it is clear now from what Issa Yunusa is saying, that there are people who do not want the refineries to work, because if it's working, they cannot loot. President Tinubu. And if it's not working, our people are impoverished whilst they are looting our wealth. President Tinubu, we are calling on you to do the right thing by the people. You're the president of the people. You're the president for all of Nigeria. I get it. I'm a Yoruba man. I want Yoruba nation. But I get it. Right now, the reality is I'm in Nigeria. And on that basis, you are my president. Whether I want Yoruba nation or not, you are. And I am appealing to you as a president, not only to myself, but to the millions who are suffering. I'm appealing to you. Be bold enough to take the steps to hold those who have impoverished citizens via this fuel subsidy scam. Be bold enough to hold them to account. Get them to come and account for what's happened. And 80% to 90% of whatever everything they've stolen must come back in the coffers, because we need those funds. Millions have suffered needlessly. President Tinubu, we know that you can't do man. We are appealing to your good nature. We are appealing to your commitment, the promises that you made for the citizens, to stand by them, to work for them, to make the nation work. You've also unified for the first time the exchange rate system. Very good. Gone are the idea of, oh, by the way, in the north you can get naira for 20, you can get dollar for $1 you pay 20 naira, whereas in the south we are paying 500 naira for $1. So that's gone. So this is good. We need to rebalance how we're doing things, but there is more to be done on that side as well. But more importantly, let us listen more to what this man said here.
That's the boss of. They need to. He should be asking questions.
So
something of the, it can be stopped, but you can't stop it. It
So,
can be stopped.
you see?
The political will to stop it.
the political will.
There are so many interests that are involved there.
That's the picture Buhari just saw there.
That's what is leading.
He needs to answer the questions.
But at a point in time during the Jonathan regime, I know we had
So,
pumping up to 1 million.
You're listening to Issa Yunusa. Those of you who are on Facebook, please join Citizen AY on YouTube. Help us grow the platform. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. We need your help.
Regime,
Listen.
like I said,
So it's protein also, John, and good luck as well.
way back in 2012, 2013, should have gone. Any person that is shouting subsidies are going to affect that this is a selfish person.
see?
A person who is connected to the scammers that are killing this country.
What you've said is very shocking.
Of course, it's shocking.
Much as you say you were
Shocking.
sad to say it, but yes, it's important that Nigerians know. And that means that all this while, previous governments have been lying to Nigerians
You see?
I think
about
so.
this subsidy matter.
I think so. They didn't have the political will to take the decisions to remove it. All this, they say, IMF is pushing us, IMF is that, World Bank is, that is not the issue. In fact, I have one of my friends.
Listen.
You see?
Who is
Listen.
in the oil industry.
Listen.
We traveled to China with him, one of the presidents.
This is admissions, though. This guy should be talking to. He should be calling for a question as well.
See, I'm a member of the economic team of Mr. President. And when I went for a meeting, I told him, Mr. President, I called him by the side. I said, Mr. President, please remove this subsidy. He said, we are tired of making money. What? I'm telling you to God Almighty.
That's Issa Yunusa. a APC man inside the APC government saying that they were calling to the former president, it might be Goodluck or it might be Buhari in China, please remove subsidy. We are tired of making money. So you can kind of see the insane amount of money that the cabals have looted. When one of them can say, please, Mr. President, put an end to subsidy because we know it's a scam. We don't want to do any more scam. Listen on.
This man should be
Let me just hear.
be called in to name names, to
Yes.
explain, to call out all those people. This, look, if we do not, this is a,
It
I
is.
don't even have the words for it.
Yeah.
Listen on.
Let's listen on.
He knows people with the former president, and he will mention President Buhari's name in this broadcast. Listen on.
He said, we are tired of making money, Mr. President. Remove this subsidy.
You see?
Wow.
Because he is a patriot and he's seen the scams that are going on there. And he told me he's alive today.
So the man he's talking about is alive today. The man who told him and who said to the president, we don't know which president he said, who said, please remove subsidy, is still alive today. So this means that, President Tinubu, these are information that we hope that you can put together, get a team of people together and get these people into a room. We need 80% to 90% of those funds diluted. We need it back. President Tinubu, we are calling on you, on your good nature, on your commitment to the citizens of Nigeria that you promised to serve, to demonstrate that earnestness of your desire to improve the lives of the millions of people suffering, to demonstrate it by the actions that you take from here on. We call on you once again, President Tinubu. The 4 refineries, the Warri, Port Harcourt 1 and 2, Kaduna, those 4 refineries with immediate action, urgent immediate action. Get a task force together, constitute a task force, tasked with the urgency of getting can-do men and women that will lead the refloating of those 4 refineries overnight, literally overnight, to start processing oil so we can have refined oil to start giving to our citizens at lower prices immediately. It is doable. No ifs, no buts, no excuses. I know it is something that you are capable of. Some of the people in the National Labour Congress, they spoke about that some of the refineries, some parts of it are still even functioning now. It is not functioning at the level at which it can pump out a lot of oil consistently, but it is doing so. That is where the task force, where you are going to have, you need to have a task force put together, President Tinubu. I'm sure you probably have this, but this is just a suggestion. Put a task force together. Get them to choose 3 for each of the positions, for 3 people for Kaduna, 3 for Warri, 3 for Port Harcourt Refinery 1, 3 for Port Harcourt Refinery 2. So that's 12 sets of people that the task force will now choose, one of which will now head the team to repair and begin to get the refineries in those 4 refineries working immediately, with the ramping up, with the monitoring of what they're doing, with regular updates. We would like you also, once you task them and they've done this, you will now bring them, you will have a meeting with them live on camera. We have a discussion in Abuja, and then they will now come on a week-to-week basis for us, giving us updates on how the refineries are doing on a week-to-week basis. Because every single day that we are importing oil, every day we are importing refined oil, President Tinubu, we are losing money twice over. We are losing money from spending the money we could have used to build roads and water and light and schools and bridges. We're spending that money on importing oil. We are losing revenue because now the oil that we could be producing ourselves, others are getting in that market and producing it for us. So we are losing revenue on two fronts, and we are making the lives of our citizens tougher, because when you import those oil, the price of that oil, because it's imported, will not be low enough for the people to survive. Manufacturers are already screaming now because the cost of the oil, the cost of electricity is going to go up. This is having a massive impact on our entire economy, President Tinubu. So we are calling on you, as you're watching this, please, we trust you. We trust you that you will fulfill your promise. Hope renewed. We will fulfill. I know that we trust that you will fulfill your hope renewed. We are counting on you. We are here to work with you to achieve that. And the citizens at this juncture, President Tinubu, I am personally calling on you now to begin to encourage our citizens to become active participants in the governance from local government level upwards. We need to go on a massive drive, because that is the only way we will achieve transparency in our governance. The participation of the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution, section 14.2c. And what are the provisions? Section 14.2a. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. We need you to begin to remind our people. I would like President Tinubu to go on a drive. I'm happy to be part of that discussion, President Tinubu, whereby we begin to get our people to become active participants in their governance. Because right now, our people for over 24 years have not been aware that they have the power to hold those they elect to office to account, using section 14.2a and 14.2c. As a true Democrat, which you espouse and you talk about and you talk about on a repeated basis, we are calling on you to encourage the people to begin to be part of this process, so that it provides transparency. The more transparent the process is, the less likely corruption will enter the discussions. So that is why we are saying, once you have the task force in place, the task force, they will head on three reputable people per refinery. They will narrow it down to one that they recommend. Once you are happy that they are able and with the capacity to begin to do the immediate repair work from day one, and giving weekly reports on the progress. So in week one, you expect targets for them. In week one, X amount of oil to be produced based on the fact of you've done the repairs that's been done. And these are going to be experts. I'm not an expert in the oil field, so I don't know. But to begin to restore confidence in our people, when Nigerians are ready, they can for digital brain, not wicked. When Nigerians are ready, they will vote for digital brains, not wicked cabals. Yes, exactly. So I agree with you, Folake Ojo. So please do continue to share this podcast. It's very important. Please, if you're joining us for the first time and you're watching Citizen NY, please go ahead to Citizen NY on YouTube and subscribe. Hit notification button. Give us a thumbs up. We really need you to help us in this discussion, because we're talking about the oil, the fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy scam. Issa Yunusa came up and made huge revelation. So let's carry on.
You see, then what we need to make is
2-3 months. And we pay demurrage. The country pays close to about 100 to...
Listen to this, listen.
The problems associated to, making the product, expensive as it even lands. At a point in time, that time, ships would line up, over 60, 70 ships lining up in the high sea, trying to come in to dock, and
60, 70 ships.
Can you see 60, 70 ships? This is what's going to happen. If we do not, President Tinubu, that's why we're calling on you. It's good that you stop the subsidy. If you stop the subsidy, and you do not get the refineries working, we will get to the point where you will hear what Issa Unita is going to say. Let's hear it.
Lining up.
Then discharge in Atlasco before us.
Discharge in
Then an
Atlasco.
average of 2-3 months.
So some oil companies, some boats, some huge oil tankers would be on sea waiting to deliver to us 3-4 months, and we're having to pay demurrage. Running into, you will hear him say it, President Tinubu, if we don't address this issue of the refinery now, this is what is going to happen. Listen to him.
And we pay demurrage. The country pays close to about 100 to 150 million.
Can you see the man? Can you see where our money is going? Please.
$150 million for demurrage.
Those of you watching now, I always take the opportunity to do this. And I want
please
us
subscribe. Subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. Help us grow the platform.
Nigeria, this thing we must do. And I will continue to espouse and talk about this until we all, as citizens, collectively
participate in our governance. We must
begin to do this particular thing. Just one thing here. I need you to really. I can't overemphasize this point, to be honest with you. So let me just.
Well, I just want to just show you, we need to be actively participating in our governance.
1 second, please.
And
this is now something that we have to demand that these people be made to account.
Yes, indeed.
So what am I asking for?
Yes. So listen to it.
I am asking you, but I'm going to bring it back, to participate in your own governance.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you have to use these powers. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, derives all its powers and authority. You need to do that. Section 14(2)(c). The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need to combine those two, and begin to actively question those we elect into office.
Mm-hmm.
The time for us to look around and just look and pray to God and all that. Please, don't even talk about God in this discussion. No God, no Allah, no Muhammad, no Jesus. The people who are doing this, who are harming your generations to come are on this earth.
Exactly.
They're not in heaven.
Exactly.
They are the ones we need to confront. And we need to put pressure on President Tinubu, whether there is friends or not, to instigate, to take action.
Indeed.
And arrest these people to come and account for the money. And those money should be returned back to the country so that we can have a proper development in all our local government areas.
So that is what I'm saying, and I'm using this platform to try and raise that awareness. You've seen, like I talked about, those 4 refineries, President Tinubu, I keep saying this again. The 4 refineries, the Warri, the Kaduna, the Port Harcourt 1, Port Harcourt 2, those refineries, they need to be refloated, i.e. to be remade working right now. The National Labour Congress, the TUC, I think it's called, one of the two of them, they said that some of their staff were still getting it running, functioning, despite the fact that they've deliberately run it down. And I've even seen reports whereby they said there have been explosions in those refineries. Now, the question is, because of the subsidy, is there a connection between the subsidy and the explosions going on in those refineries? Those explosions were designed to ensure that those refineries didn't work. President Tinubu, I put it to you, that those refineries, because of the explosions that were going on in the Warri one or the Port Harcourt one, they're cleverly designed to ensure that there was no interruption in the flow of subsidies. President Tinubu, we're calling on you. This is a matter of grave concern. This matter, putting forward an immediate remedial plan for the refineries with immediate effect will send a message to every citizen in Nigeria, including myself, that you are indeed putting the concerns of the citizens first. We would like to see this critical step that you take in showing us that the transparency and the need for clarity and to restore the confidence of the people in their governance. On the basis of that, you take this critical step to ensure that with immediate urgency and transparency, that the refineries are beginning, they are being fixed, and they have to be named people that everybody, you have to name the people who are going to head these teams, who are going to head the repair job. Name them. They have to be experts in that field, and they have to be monitored. And the government, so you need to name them. Okay, this is the person who's going to be the job. As you're naming them, there is going to be a team, a task force within that task force. So the people who are appointed, people who are monitoring the work that are appointed, and the regular updates that we, the citizens, will get on a weekly basis. Because every single day, those refineries are not working. We are losing billions, President Tinubu. For every single day that those refineries are not working, for every single day that we are having to import oil, we are losing jobs that it could be created for our people. We are losing jobs that our people could be created for our people. Because if those refineries are working, that means that, you see, there are industries that will be around those refineries. In the UK here, when they open an industrial business, an industrial estate, one business will bring another business, and it becomes a big community. And the revenue generated within just that industrial estate alone becomes such a huge amount that they actually create jobs. Simple jobs, as somebody selling sandwich to the industrial estate. Because the bigger that company, now he can actually afford to he will open a shop. Then he will open a shop, he will actually buy a building, because of the growth of the industrial estate. It's the same thing. It's the same thing for the refineries, President Tinubu. It's the same thing. We can regenerate our own local economies, our own our local government areas, by just ensuring that the refineries are functioning. So those who are taking away those refineries, they are doing us severe damages in our economy, in our society, in all manner. We are losing money hand over foot daily because of their greed. They cannot perceive or visualize the benefit of a functioning refinery and how much revenue and business and jobs will be created from a functioning refinery, because associated companies will come and locate close to that refinery, and other things will flow from there. The local economy will boom. Now, President Tinubu, the local economy around those 4 refineries, is it booming? What's the evidence? It isn't. President Tinubu, we're calling on you. Please, this is a task now. We are not saying, this is not about a blame game. You are the man in charge. We know your heart is in the right place. But the question we have for you, can you pull your team together to achieve that goal? We need you to be bold enough for the people. You are now the father of our nation called Nigeria. Please do not misunderstand me. It's the pragmatism of the situation. I am for Yoruba nation, and nothing is going to change that. Nothing. Till I leave this planet, I am Yoruba for life. But as we currently stand, President Tinubu, we are in Nigeria, and our people are suffering. My role, I will put aside my clamor for Yoruba nation to ensure that our people are getting relief from the injustice, from the pain, from all of that, to ensure that our people begin to get the benefits of being a Nigerian. Those benefits have been taken away from them by the cabals, President Tinubu. Those benefits have been taken away from them by the cabals. And when you hear this man saying what he's saying, Issa Yunusa, Let me play it again.
participate in your
Let me see if I can.
governance, please. That's what I'm.
Let me forward this again.
Commercial.
Remove subsidy, but they're not going to fix the refineries.
See.
Are they fixing the refineries?
So, President Tinubu, we're calling on you. We're calling on you.
Listen on.
This is on you now, President Tinubu.
Being a businessman.
You see.
So, and he's from the commercial center.
Yes. So Issa Yunusa is saying it. President Tinubu, I agree with him. You've been a businessman. You've run Lagos. And a lot of reports have said how well you turned the general economy of Lagos around. You increased the internally generated revenue of Lagos. So we know that you have the know-how, President Tinubu. We're not fighting. We're not here to abuse. I'm not here to abuse you. It doesn't solve anything. Me abusing you will not be, I will not. How will it put food on the table for the next person? It won't. I'm appealing to your good nature, President Tinubu. Directly, please, those 4 refineries. Oil is our foundation right now. Yes, we are going to move away from oil. I understand that. But right now, it's our foundation. The clearest signal you can send, President Tinubu, is to get those 4 refineries functioning now. Put the task force in place immediately. Get them to like I said, pick 3 people per refinery. People who are going to head that you will headhunt, and you and your team, your close team, will now choose one of the 3 people. Can-do people like yourself who will fix those refineries, who will get it running, who will begin to, on a week-by-week basis, they give you updates, and they do this transparently on TV. This week, we've gone 10,000 liters. Next week, we got 50,000 liters with evidence of this thing. And because that's what we need. And we need to rapidly ramp up the repair job on those refineries, and it must be protected, President Tinubu, because we know you need to also set up, not only will they be repairing it, but you need to set up teams around those refineries to protect it, because the cabals, we know that the cabals, they don't want it to function, because that's where the food is coming from. You understand, Mr. President? We are respectfully asking you. We're not telling you off. This is not interested in. We have every confidence that you can do this for us, but we are appealing to you. So whoever is watching this, send it to Tinubu, send it to his team, send it to we right now. Our focus in how to alleviate the pains of our people, very much like President Tinubu says, and we are coming up with proposals to help you, to point you in the right direction, President Tinubu, to be bold enough. We know that there are people in your team in APC there who are benefiting from the cabals. We need you to be bold enough, President Tinubu, to address those people, to confront them, to make them, to put them to aside, to prevent, to do everything legally possible to ensure that they are held to account, so that our people can begin to benefit from the resources on their land. You've heard Yunusa saying it. Let me I'll play on again.
Of Nigeria, and he made Lagos what it is today as a
income
economy.
Yes.
But he knows he knows all the crooks in the country.
He knows all the crooks in the country. President Tinubu, it's not me saying it. Issa Yunusa said it. He says you know all the crooks. I'm not interested in semantics or anything. You know them. You know who these people are. We need you to be bold enough to confront them on behalf of the masses who are suffering. We are calling on you. The best way to fix our nation right now, a nation currently dependent on oil, is to get those refineries working, come what may. Come what may. Let's listen on.
Understand this a little bit more. Won't your friend then say that they were tired of making
They
money,
are tired of
understanding the scam? So did he tell you, why didn't the president go ahead and remove it? Because if he had that first-hand information, he should have acted, the former president.
I'm sorry, my brother.
Listen.
The president may not have done it because of the entrenched interest.
So, President Tinubu, the former president now, Issa Yunusa is saying that he may not have done the arresting and taking the people because of entrenched interest. That is why we are appealing to you. Aṣíwájú, abẹ̀yìn ni, kì í ṣe jà, kì í ṣe tipá, arọ̀ yín ni, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ tu àwọn èèyàn wa lára. We are begging you to ease the pains of our people. Be bold enough to do this on behalf of the millions who are suffering because the refineries that they should be using to create jobs, to actually reduce the price of oil for citizens, is not in place. To make sure that is in place. Aṣíwájú, you are the president. We are glad of the move you are making. Please, for the sake of the people, Issa Yunusa, APC man, the man that you know, is saying that you know these people. We're not saying to come to fight. We're not saying to come and, we're just saying for you to do what Buhari didn't do. Buhari did not confront those who were cabals in his government. And we know the cost of this lack of action on the lives of millions of citizens. There are millions of citizens that have died in poverty, where the oil is right next to them in Warri, in Akwa Ibom, in Port Harcourt. Millions have died because of the sake of the fuel scammers, fuel subsidy scammers. They've put the lives of millions in jeopardy. President Tinubu, we beg you, we are calling on you, to take action for our people. We are not, we are only here to urge you to think about the people that you promised to serve and protect. And we are calling on you. We know that you have the power and you have the intention and you have the know-how to achieve this. And we have every confidence that you will. What we would like you to do is to make sure that within your team, we want you to be bold enough to pull out those that were involved in this defrauding. Hold them to account. If it means that you have to come to an arrangement whereby 80% of the funds that they looted comes back in, and those funds can be used to fix the refinery. Some of that can be used to fix the refinery right now. So we don't have to go and find money anywhere else. That's the point of what we're saying. These guys have stolen money that doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the city, to the nation. We need to put a stop to this kind of bad governance. President Tinubu, we have every confidence in you. So, first part of it is the task team. We need you to put a task force in place. The task force will comprise of a number of strong strategic people who will now constitute, they will go and look for headhunt. They will headhunt 12 people. 12 people from which 3 of each refinery will be looked at as possible people to come in and fix those refineries pronto. Yesterday. Not tomorrow. Yesterday. Once you give the go ahead and you are confident of one of them, you nominate one. You nominate them. At the same time, you have a monitoring team set up within the government to be monitoring the actions of that nominated person, who will head and run the repairs of each of the refineries. And they are going to be coming with weekly reports of what they are doing transparently. And we would urge you, President Tinubu, to be able to get the buy-in from the people that this is done live on TV. Yes, you can have the central meeting, but in terms of the figures, in terms of how much they've done on a week-to-week basis, in terms of how many liters they've managed to produce on a week-to-week basis, this is a way to build confidence back in the system. It is a way to build confidence back in the system. Right now, we don't have confidence in the system. Look at what is happening, President Tinubu, with the cost of electricity prices. We don't have regular electricity in Nigeria, and yet they are going to increase the price of electricity. How is that productive? How is that productive? The the refinery will have a major impact if we get that functioning. If we can get the refineries functioning, the price of the oil will come down for the local people. In the US, the price of fuel for the citizens is as low as possible. It is there to ease the pains of the people. Whereas the price of fuel for the ordinary man on the street in Nigeria is 500, 600 naira. Where are they going to find it? And there is no jobs. And they are getting 30,000 naira a year, President Tinubu. This is a fundamental part of your refloating of Nigeria. The refineries, the 4 refineries, if we leave those refineries untouched, President Tinubu, and we do not take them as a matter of immediate urgency, whatever plans that you are talking about is built on dust. Everything will turn to dust, because those refineries are going to be the beginning of the refloating of the entire nation called Nigeria. Entire nation. I kid you not. Because when those refineries are functioning, we can now begin to look at, it allows you the opportunity to now transfer to the people the price and lower prices of the oil, which is the ultimate goal, to be sold within Nigeria. Now, not only that, when we start doing that, we are creating jobs, because once our oil gets sold at a lower price, we can extend our reach across the whole of West Africa and indeed Africa. If we're serious about this, President Tinubu, if we're serious about this, that is where we need to start. The refineries. If we are having any discussion about a World Bank and all of this, and we are not putting the funds into the refineries, and we mustn't take borrowed money to fix the refineries. We have to take back the money looted by those who looted to fix our refinery, President Tinubu. Let's be bold enough to call this out. We need to be bold enough to tell those who stole that money that we want that money back, and those money be used to start fixing the refinery, because it will send a message that in Nigeria, we will do things the right way. If you do it the wrong way, you will be held to account. You will be held to account. President Tinubu, I know this is what you want. The picture of Nigeria you painted for us is a Nigeria that will function. You talked about farming. The farmers are going to be given the opportunity to grow and develop. You talked about manufacturing. You talked about the fact that 60% GDP. You talked about all of this. We believe you. We believe you, President Tinubu. We are asking you, the foundation for all of this, President Tinubu, will come from those 4 refineries. Any plan that you have, President Tinubu, without those refineries, any plan that you have without those refineries, President Tinubu, it is going to be a failed plan. It is going to be a hodgepodge. It is be a fudge. Oh, okay, that one is this one. Oh, let's not talk about that. Because the refineries is the foundation of our nation. People, all the oil companies around the world, they're like bees around the honey, because they know that we have the resources. So they will do everything to put their hands in there. They are preventing us, the Western world. They don't want Africa to have manufacturing, President Tinubu. This is a much bigger problem. And being the most populous nation in the world, this would be a perfect opportunity to build and ensure, without borrowing a penny, that the money that was looted by those who looted it, the cabals, is poured into the system to repair the things they failed to do. They prevented us from doing in the first place. That will send a clear message, President Tinubu. It will send a clear message to the entire world that in Nigeria, we mean business when we say we are going to put our people first. I'm calling on you, President Tinubu. Let's listen on for a little bit, and I'll come back and talk some more. 1 second.
could even be at the risk of his life.
You see?
But at least the president of Nigeria is adequately protected. If I were him, I would have eaten the bullet and taken the decision.
So, Issa Yunusa is saying that as a president of Nigeria, he would have ordered the former president to have taken the decision to hold the cabals to account because it's adequately protected. President Tinubu, you are the man in charge now. We're calling on you to do this for the people. Those refineries, it's not about Dangote refinery. I'm sorry. Dangote refinery is only going to mean one thing. The price will go up and up and up, and the people will have to pay. And then suddenly Dangote refinery will come up, will start working, and they will still, and the price will remain at the high price for the people. We need those 4 refineries working because they are state-owned. Later on, I would suggest myself personally that the Dangote refinery be renamed a co-refinery because it was public money. Majority of the funds used to build that. Respectfully, President Tinubu, the majority of the funds used to build Dangote refinery came from public money. We cannot continue to make a private monopoly from public money. It doesn't make economic sense, President Tinubu. It doesn't make economic sense. We are asking of you, the foundation for this nation, we all agree, we are going to move away from oil. We are talking about having, all these electric cars and things. Great. But whilst we are still dependent on oil, fix those refineries. Because that is where the oil, to reduce the price which our people are paying at the pump, those refineries must work. If we do not, if any plan we have that does not include fixing the refineries to reduce the price of the oil, it is not going to be sustainable, sir. It is not going to be sustainable, sir, President Tinubu. It isn't. And I'm sure you know this. I'm sure you are aware. But you are the president now. Mr. Yunusa was saying that Buhari should have beaten the bullet and held those men to account. President Tinubu, you're now in charge. We need you to be bold enough to do what is right for the people. We need you to be bold enough to do what is right for the people. Mr. Yunusa is saying it. Listen.
Yes, therefore, because the poor man out there is suffering and dying of hunger.
This is why I'm saying it.
And we are busy feeding on them in collaboration with foreigners.
You see, President Tinubu, Mr. Yunusa saying the poor man out there is starving. And he said, we are busy feeding on them with foreigners. The benefit from the oil, sadly, President Tinubu, the benefit that should come to the local people is being enjoyed by foreigners. This is not sustainable. This is not good governance. And I know that you are trying to put a blueprint for good governance. That is what you want. You want to turn it around. The place to start, President Tinubu, is the refinery. I'm not here to abuse, because I don't believe I've been abusive or talking to you in a rude manner. You're my father. Baba legesi misa. Baba mo de kiyi eku orire. Eyin na ẹ sọ pé ẹ máa ṣe ààrẹ ẹ dẹ̀ sẹ́ ẹ wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ dẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ gbòsà fún yín sà gbòsà lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta ẹ wí bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ dẹ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ntọ́ kàn sí yín sà ìyà tó ń jẹ àwọn èèyàn wa ẹ má jẹ́ kó ẹ díjú ẹ̀yin lólórí ẹ̀yin là ń wò à ń bẹ̀ yín ni ìyà yìí ẹ ní agbára láti fi tu àwọn èèyàn wa lára. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ abẹ̀yìn ni ẹ̀bẹ̀ labẹ̀yìn ẹ tú àwọn èèyàn wa lára. Àwọn arábí kó owó lápò wa wọ́n dẹ̀ ń gbé fún àwọn àjèjì wọ́n dẹ̀ ń jí ìyà tó ń jẹ́ ń já àwọn èèyàn wa fún àìmọye ọdún 20 ọdún kéré jù. Bàbá ààrẹ abẹ̀yìn ni o ẹ ṣàtúnṣe ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá wa ṣàtúnṣe yìí. We're calling on you, President Tinubu. We know you can do this. You turn Lagos around. You can turn Nigeria around. As much as I want Yoruba nation because I don't believe Nigeria is working. And if this doesn't work, then you cannot come and tell me if I stick to saying I want Yoruba nation, then you will know I'm justified in saying Yoruba nation. So we need you. If you want us to believe in Nigeria, make it work. Because Nigeria is not working, sir. Sir, it is not working. Millions. I've had people, friends that I know of, that have gone to foreign countries, applied for visa, and they've been called for interviews. This is not just me saying it. Personally, people are trying to leave Nigeria because this fuel subsidy scam and all of the other scams. President Tinubu, we know you're a can-do man. The time for action is now. Start with the refineries. Be bold enough to call the MD of NNPC to come and account. Be bold enough, sir. Be bold enough. You will send a message to Nigeria, to the citizens, that it is no longer business as usual. And I mean this time, properly, no longer business as usual. If you don't do that, sir, if you just continue to say, oh, we are going to import, the man that tells us, oh, this is I saw videos of Melekari showing us, oh, this is the oil bunkering. Well, how is it that there are oil pipes being tapped to the oil to the pipeline, and they don't know about it? How is it? They know about it. You can hear Isa Yunusa. Let's carry on.
In collaboration with foreigners. This is what I'm saying to you.
It is painful, sir, that the resources that should be benefit our people are being carted off by the cabals. And what is worse about it, sir, is that the cabals, they are willing to give these benefits, the oil, the money, freely to other countries, and denying the same people that they call themselves Nigerians with the same benefit, and they say it's good business. Sir, it can no longer be business as usual. If you are serious about building a better future for the coming generation, we need to start with those refineries, sir. Let us see the evidence of that work, sir. We are begging you. We are calling on your good nature. We are reminding you of the promises you made, your renewed hope. We are reminding you, respectfully, no abuse, no anger. Our focus is how to ease the pains of our people. We're begging you to do the right thing. Every time I listen to this man, Isa Yunusa, and it's a man you know, sir. You know him. You know Isa Yunusa.
Citizens, we can no longer be silent.
So, listen.
The former Minister of Finance, Ngozi, she had this similar investigation where she involved.
Let me have a sip of water.
Chartered accountants do some holistic audit. In fact, in that her report, she discovered about $2 billion that was just going into private pockets. So I believe many more, committees were set up later to confirm this position, and they still continue confirming, and apparently nothing has been done. So if something has been done, I wouldn't know because I'm not part of the NPC.
You see, he's not part of NNPC. Sir, it is really important. We beg of you, President Tinubu. He talked about NNPC. NNPC is a major problem. We need you to be bold enough, sir. Oh, sorry about that. NNPC is a major problem. Sir, NNPC is a major problem. We need you to be bold enough to hold Melekari and all of the other executives to come to be held to account right now. Because the billions of dollars and the marketeers and the NNPC, they are all part of this scam. Isa Yunusa is saying it. He's mentioned NNPC. He's not even hiding it. He said NNPC. And now we now know NNPC, of course. It was only made a private company in July of 2022, sir. President Tinubu. So we're calling on you. Do what is necessary. These refineries must be your first port of call. These refineries must be your first port of call. Nothing else, sir, will do it. If you are going and tinkering about the price of what is imported and all of that, you are then really deceiving the people. What the people need from you is to see the speed, the rapid speed, and the clear, transparent plan, a package put in place to monitor the upgrade, the repair, and the maintenance of those 4 refineries ASAP. No ifs, no buts. That is the first place to go. Everything else is around that, because that's the foundation. Once those refineries are now optimizing, the people will feel the benefit of those refineries in lower prices at the pump. Sir, I hope you're following me. Respectfully, Nimosole Isao, I'm not here to tell you what to do by force. I'm appealing to your good nature, President Tinubu, to do this for the masses. The man, Issa Yunusa, said, foreigners are benefiting from the resources that we, the people, have been denied by those cabals. The cabals are working with foreigners. Isn't it time that we turn this around? As the largest African nation, as the largest black nation in the entire world, we need to set a good example for the others, sir. And it starts with what we do. It starts with this fuel subsidy scam. We need to make examples of certain people. And the funds, again, I maintain that to fix those refineries, don't borrow money. There are people that you know in your government who have been part of this. Take that money. Take 80% of whatever they stole back. Plow it straight direct to fix the things that they failed to fix, that they prevented us from fixing. To make them understand, to make the youth coming generation know that crime does not pay. Because if we allow this to go on for over 24 years now, crime has been shown to be paid, to be something that pays. That's why there are people who are suddenly billionaires overnight at the expense of the millions of citizens. President Tinubu, we are calling on you. Please do the needful. These refineries, make it your first point of call. The refineries must start functioning. They must put in plans. Get a team together that you can trust to deliver. And more importantly, around those refineries, we need adequate protection. Around those refineries, in and out, we need proper protection around those refineries, because those cabals, they are willing to do anything to ensure that the refinery is not working, so that they can continue to get, even when we say subsidy is over, they are going to be the ones who are going to now be the ones importing the oil, because they are ready. They are loaded with our money. This is how serious this is, and we need to break the back of the cabals publicly. And I'm calling on every citizen. I'm going to read you section 14.2a, 14.2c. Every citizen watching this, you have a role to play. This is where you come in. Let me show you what I mean. Those of you who are, and this is why I urge you, if you're watching me and you haven't subscribed to Citizen on YouTube, go ahead and do so now. Facebook, they're playing with my broadcast too much. And I for some reason, I had to, in fact, I had to back off doing broadcasts, because I just felt very, I don't know how to put it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What is important is the message has been consistent, and I've carried on with that message. And the message is simple. We, the people, yes, we must participate in our governance. And I've tried to demonstrate that as often as I can in all my broadcasts. In fact, I do as much as I can when I come on a broadcast to quote and refer to section 14.2a. I know it off head. I've translated it to Yoruba, and I want people to know that we have those powers. So let me just show you again. In case those of you who are joining, if you're joining for the first time, you're watching Citizen Network, the platform where we speak truth to power. If you're watching us and you haven't subscribed to Citizen Network on YouTube, go ahead and do so, please. Because you'll get a much more engaging discussion and be able to follow what we're doing live on the broadcast. You will see the pictures, and it will make much better sense. So I'm grateful that you're joining me on Facebook. But Facebook are deliberately bringing the numbers down, and you see it's coming up and down and everything else. But what we want to do is, today's broadcast is about fuel subsidy scam. Issa Yunusa, a man inside the government, inside APC confirmed this scam. He's implicated NNPC and those who are working with it currently in this scam. And what we're saying is that those 4 refineries, before President Tinubu does anything else, we respectfully urge the president to look at getting those refineries working immediately, putting a task force in place, appointing people after vetting 3 people, headhunted 3 people per refinery. After vetting them, be sure that they can do the work. Appoint one, bring them on TV, tell us who they are. Appoint a monitoring team that's going to be monitoring the work of those refineries, those managing the refineries, and giving us weekly updates on TV. This has to be done on TV to bring in the confidence and the transparency for the people to be able to believe in their governance. That is what must happen, President Tinubu. So we are asking you to please act on that. We hope to hear from you in due course on that particular action. It's not about getting angry or anything. Right now, our people are suffering, and we are talking about how to alleviate the pains, the sufferings, the misery, the impoverishment. Don't forget, our people are still earning 30,000 naira. Those are the ones that we even know of. There are people who are living on less than that a month. And how do they do it? How? President Tinubu, we're asking you, please, this is something that we must deal with as a matter of urgency. Those refineries are the most important things right now. Yes, I know they're talking about moving away from oil and all of that, but for the next 5 to 10 years, we will still be using oil. It would make better economic sense to therefore fix those refineries as currently is, to reduce the price of the oil, number one. Number two, to create jobs. Once you reduce the price of the processing of the oil to for the local market, then you can charge what you want outside. Now we can now compete with others in selling our oil outside. We can do that. That creates jobs. That builds industries. We can do that. This idea of collapsing our own economy only for allowing others to grow by importing the oil is economic madness. It's economic madness. It's economic madness. We cannot shut our eye to this any longer. Our manufacturing base is dependent on that price of the oil as well. They've been complaining because already we know that there's barely 4,000 megawatts of electricity. So what do? They're going to use fuel. If you don't deal with the refinery, you are going to destroy our manufacturing base entirely, President Tinubu. These are the impacts of what is going on. They've been complaining. People have been coming on programs and talking about it. They complained this morning. So if the failure to confront this refinery is the 4 refineries, they are the foundation for everything. The solution to majority of our problems. Once we get those refineries working, it puts an end to anybody coming in. I'm a marketeer. Oh, I'm going to sell you oil. I will bring in oil. I can bring in. They don't care about what it does to our people or our economy. They just want money now. Money they haven't worked for. President Tinubu, we're calling on you, please. So, my people, here's what we must do as people, as citizens. I'm going to read to you section 14.2a, and I'll explain a little bit more. Section 14.2a. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. 14.2a. What does that mean? In simple terms, each and every one of us living in local government areas, we are collectively sovereigns. And as a sovereign, standing together, the government, they derive their powers from each of those local government areas. It's like the local government saying, okay, we give you the power to use our powers on our behalf to govern the entire nation. Each of the 774 local government areas. And they govern on our behalf. And they derive those powers through this constitution. That is where you come in. You need to see yourselves within your local community, local government area as a sovereignty. A sovereignty which can now go and do the second part of very important part of this puzzle, which I'm about to read, section 14.2c, which states, the participation by the people in their government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, what does that mean? It means now that to be able to participate in the governance, it should be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. And what are the provisions? The key provision that you need to know as a citizen is that your sovereignty belongs to you. On that basis, you participate in your governance. And how do you participate? By holding each and every elected and appointed official to account. Because why? Collectively in your local government area, you are sovereign. And it's important that the central point we understand in all of this is our collective effort together will be able to allow us to exercise our sovereignty. And that is where we need to come into this discussion. So when we are talking about what can you do, let me give you an example of what you can do now with this sovereignty. What you can do is to call your local chairman, your state house of assembly member, your house of reps, your senators. You call them to a meeting, and your local government area, all of the local community associations, you have a meeting. You call them to the meeting and tell them about this refinery, that it must be working. Every local government area should send a message that should reach the local chairman, state house of assembly member, house of reps, senators, to read them that we want those refineries working, because that is the only way we will get a reduction in the price of fuel. They must be working. And we send the message right back to the National Assembly and go and tell them that they need to place that as a top priority right now. Right now. That is the top priority. They must make that top priority to fix that those refineries. So now once they do that now, because they are working on our behalf, once we put pressure on each of those elected officials using section 42A and 42C, they now have to go to the National Assembly with our demand. And once that's on the table, we can now begin to now put pressure on the president and everybody. You need to put assent on this. So this is where our collective effort comes in. The pastors and the imams, they don't want you to know this, because why? They are getting money from those in government. So it is in their interest for you to never stand up and exercise this section 14.2a. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. The church has they got no such powers in the constitution. You do. You do. So when the church saying that you are powerless, it's a lie. When the imam tells you that you are powerless, it's a lie. Your power comes in when you come together within your community and you exercise the powers as stated under section 42A. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. When you collectively exercise that sovereign power, no force on this planet can stop you. So we need to put pressure. This fuel subsidy thing, it is impacting the lives of every one of us. Going to any church or any mosque is not going to solve it. But by coming together within your community, like I'm telling you right now, every local government area, and calling your local chairman, state house assembly, house of reps, senator, call them together, even governors, message to them that no way are we accepting this. Those refineries must be working, because the fuel prices is impacting our lives, and just telling us to just hoping to, you see, to hope, or maybe so they will do it. Maybe they will they import the price, the oil at a cheaper price. Oh, they will take the heat. No, they won't. The only way you can guarantee that you will get lower prices is to put all our collective efforts together to ensure that the government indeed gets those refineries working, because it's not enough to just speak to Tinubu, like President Tinubu, like I'm doing now. It isn't enough. No, because you are living on hope then. that, oh, he will maybe speak to them. He will maybe. That is one part of the puzzle. That's why I said there's two parts of it. The second part of it now, it's over to you. I'm talking to you. If you're watching me and you're watching this podcast, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power, I'm talking to you directly. I want you to understand that you have a role to play. If you want the refinery to work and you want to have lower fuel in your community, you need to participate in your governance. If you just keep quiet when the price of the oil is going up, and you know, but every one of you knows that none of the refineries are working, and you are not prepared to work together in your community, collectively to come together and put pressure on your government, starting from your local government, to pass a message to the National Assembly that National Assembly, they must make that top priority, all 774 local government area. That is what I mean. You have the power, Section 42A. You have that power to exercise it, hold them to account, because the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution, Section 42C. And what is the power? What is the provision? The provision is Section 42A. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this Constitution, derives all the powers and authority. You have that power. So on the one hand, we are going to appeal to President Tinubu. We have to. We must do that. We are doing it. Yes, others will do it. But on the other hand, you and I, in every community, as you're getting this message, go to your community, because the price of oil is fixed by those marketeers who have ensured that the fuel that you need, that the refineries that would have made your life easier isn't working. Going to any church and praying, maybe God do it, or go to any, will not solve it. The pastor and the imam, they don't care about you as long as the government gives them money. That is why your participation in your government is of high importance, extremely high importance. And that is why I keep reiterating that point. And I hope it is a point that is well made. I hope many of us are watching this. Please, if you're watching this broadcast and you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY on YouTube, go ahead and do so, because we will need you to, guys, we need people to join us on the struggle. Section 14.2a, I'm reading it off head. I've translated it into Yoruba as well for people in Yoruba language. If you are your Igbo man, please, I want you to translate it into Igbo language as well, because these are where the powers that we need are. The Constitution is not perfect. It is not, it is, in fact, it needs to be rewritten. But these two powers, 42A and 42C, we can use to ensure that the refinery, this refinery issue, that it is resolved urgently. Because if we leave it to the president alone, he will have the will, he will want to do it, but the team around him and those, and don't forget, they've said it, the people, there are people in the government that are part of this fuel subsidy scam. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think they will let the government pass laws to put them in, to jail them? Do you think they will make the government take action? Do you think they will not try and get in the way of Tinubu so that he never puts anything in place? They will try. Tinubu will try to do it. They will try and block him as hard as they can. That is where we come in. So when we now participate in our government and say, look, the price of the oil is affecting every local government area right now. Every local government area. And that is why you need to participate in your government. You need to now come together, have a meeting that the price of fuel is affecting every community. And the best way we can do it is to get your senators, House of Reps, to go to the National Assembly and table your concerns that they need that refinery. We need that refinery fixed. If all 774 local government area does that and start talking and start putting the pressure to the senators and House of Reps, do you think they will say no? They have no choice. If everybody, but it requires our active participation. You see, the 10 hours and the 20 hours that you're using in the church and the mosque, this is where we need to use it to. Because if you don't fix the refinery, the cost of you traveling will get worse. So your only solution right now is to be actively participating in our governance. So you need to use those two powers. Let me read it again. I'll read your fed. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Section 42C. the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. I hope you are finding this, helpful, and please do leave comments. Let's hear from you, and please don't forget, if you're watching Citizen Network, you're watching the platform where we speak truth to power, go ahead and subscribe, hit notification button, and of course give us a thumbs up. Help us reach more people. We really need you to help us grow this platform. We are almost 3,000 now on Facebook. We would like to get there. We would like to get to that 3,000 in the next few days, and let's make that a target for us. So if you're watching this broadcast, what we're trying to do is to raise the level of awareness. Our focus right now as citizens is how to make sure that the refinery is fixed. That is the most important thing. The price of oil in a contractual Nigeria is affected by the lack of refineries in our. There's 4 refineries that are not working. 2 in Warri and 2 in Port Harcourt, 1 in Warri and one in Kaduna. So those refineries must work, right? So we are urging you, begin to participate in your governance. And again, let me play this bit again. We will 1 minute. So let me just show you now what Issa Unita is saying. Let's carry on.
Well, there are those who will be wondering
listen,
whether or not these individuals or these entities are untouchable or not.
You see?
There are those who reference one word called cabal in this fuel subsidy scam mix, as well as the oil bunkering, the oil theft that's been reported, recorded, investigated. And it would seem like all we have is just, okay, this is uncovered now, and that is it. It would seem like, okay, nothing to ask again. Do you think these individuals or these entities are too powerful to be touched? Hence, there is a need for some political will other than the laws?
Well, apparently, I think very strongly that maybe part of those who are supposed to be doing the needful to bring them to stop what they are doing are also beneficiaries of that system.
You see, that's the problem, and that's why we're calling on President Tinubu. Those who are supposed to be holding the people who are the cabals to account, they are also part of the cabal. So the political will is being held back. So whilst we are saying and we are appealing, and we know that President Tinubu wants to address this issue about the fuel scam, the fuel subsidy scam, we understand that, but he cannot do this on his own. That is why we will need concerted effort. It's not about TUC alone now. It's not about the National Labour Congress. It's about each and every citizen exercising their sovereign power collectively within each of the local government area to hold their government to account. Because sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. So your government derives powers from you collectively as a sovereign in your local government area. It is time you use that power. It is time you come together and use that power to ensure that you instruct your government to get the refineries working, to ease your pains. Because that's the only way you can solve this. It's not by going to any church. It's not by going to any mosque. Going to pray in a mosque or in a church will not solve, will not fix your refinery. It's by putting pressure on the government to ensure that they put in the right people to fix those refineries, and they monitor the progress of the oil coming out there, and they put security around all of the refineries to prevent it from being damaged by the cabals. Because the cabals don't want it to function, because that is the only way they know they can get money from the system. So we need to be actively participating in our governance. In fact, the onus is on all of us now. Everybody watching me, if you are not sharing this broadcast, so that many people can be awake and understand how important. You've been complaining, oh, the price of oil is high, the price of this, oh, well, 500 naira here, 600 naira. But ask yourself this question, one question. Are we refining our own oil? No. Why are we not? Well, because we are importing it, because we get fuel subsidy, because it is not working. Why is it not working? It's not working because the fuel subsidy, the people who are behind the fuel subsidy are making sure that our refinery never works. But we are the ones, if it doesn't work, we are the ones who are going to be paying through the nose for this, every single one of us, in every single community. So what is going to be in our interest? Isn't it going to be in our interest if we work together in all 774 local government area, begin to put pressure on our elected officials, local chairman, House of Assembly, State House of Assembly, House of Reps, governors, go to each and every one of them and say, look, we need those refineries working. We are telling you, we are sending you to the National Assembly to table a motion, emergency motion, on the floor of the House, telling the government that your priority must be their priority. And that priority is for the refineries to be fixed immediately. Using funds that's been recovered from the marketeers, from the cabals that looted trillions of naira. We don't want them borrowing money. We don't want the government borrowing money. The money that must be used, the money to be used to fix those refineries must be money collected back from the looters who stole from the government. That is what the message we need to be involved in. If we don't all get involved and start doing this, nothing's going to change. That is why I'm telling you, we need to play active participation in our governance. Stand inside and go and pray, God, oh God, help me today. Hey, may God help me. I'm on my knees. Oh, hey, God, Allah Akbar, Muhammad, Jesus, this and that. You can pray to all you like. It's not good. Do you think the people who are looting, do you think they care about you praying? In fact, they like the fact that you're praying. It means that you're not confronting them. Now, I'm hoping by showing you the steps we need to take. Again, I'm reading to you. If you're watching us on Citizen AY on YouTube, on Facebook, please join us on YouTube. Help us subscribe. Help us reach more people. The steps that we must take. We need that we need the 4 refineries. We need the Kaduna refinery, the Warri refinery, the 2 in Port Harcourt. We need them functioning immediately. And we, each and every one of you in the local government areas, in 774 local government areas, you have the power to call your local government chairman, your state house of assembly, your house of reps, your senators. Call them to a public gathering with all of you exercising your sovereignty and tell them you want them to go with a message to the National Assembly in all 774 local government areas, to the National Assembly, that you demand that the government of the day with immediate emergency put in a task plan, a task force that will be targeted, focused on alleviating our sufferings through the repairing of the refineries, all the 4 refineries with immediate effect. And you want to see this happening transparently, so that you want the government to give you regular updates on a week-by-week basis on TV, national TV. We need to do that, because the government alone, Tinubu alone, cannot do this. Our pressure, I guarantee you, our collective pressure will yield result. It's not by praying, no. It's not by going to imam, to the church. It's not by going to the mosque. It's not by fasting. It is by our collective effort. Because whether you like, you see, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you pray or not, that price is impacting you. But if you collectively take action to go call in your state house of assembly member, your local chairman, your house of reps, your senators, you call them to a meeting, and everybody in the local government area comes out and tells them in no uncertain terms, we are instructing you to go to the National Assembly on our behalf and make them know that the price of the fuel, because of the lack of refinery, is hurting our lives on a daily basis. We can't take it anymore. We are instructing the government of the day to immediately repair those refineries, put security, tight security around it, so that it is never damaged again. It is monitored. And give regular updates on the progress of each of the refineries as they start doing the refinery. And then that will bring the price of the fuel down. That is the only long-term solution. That is the only long-term solution that I can foresee that many of these can. And that's why we're saying, we're calling on President Tinubu to take action. We're calling on that. But that is one side of it. The second side of it is we are calling, a citizen is calling on you in your community. You're complaining about the price of food, price of this. If you do not ensure that you put your effort collectively together to ensure that the refineries they start working immediately, you will continue to suffer. It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. It is not even that is, and the refinery is the foundation. Those 4 refineries are the foundation of the nation. And that is why those who are making themselves, those who are calling themselves billionaires in the oil business, they are making billions on your misery. They are making billions on your misery. Now, you have a choice. Do you want to remain in misery, or do you want to get up and take collective action to put an end to your misery? The choice is yours. We are showing you how to do it. Section 14(2)(a). Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Let me say it again. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Let me show you, those of you who are on Citizen AY on YouTube, you will see the message. I'm going to read that to you again. So as I'm reading it, you will see it. I'll put the words behind it. So it's for section 14(2)(a). Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That means that in your community, you are a sovereign. So far, for over 24 years, you have refused to use it because you want, number one, it's not even that you refused. It's just that you were never taught that you were a sovereign. You didn't know that you were a sovereign. You didn't know that your community had powers to hold the government to account. The government was telling you, we will make promises. But on top of the government making promises, you have the power to ensure that not only are they making the promise, but they fulfill the promise by you exercising your sovereignty. That is what we are trying to make you to understand. And you have that power in every single community. You don't have to go to any church. You don't have to go to any mosque. But by standing together in your community, just by standing together and questioning them, you are exercising your sovereignty. And they, by law, by the same constitution they wrote, they have to listen to you and do exactly what you tell them. We're trying to show you how you can use that power in all 774 local government areas. By the way, I've translated this into Yoruba, and I will take the time to translate it to show it again in a minute. But I'm going to read the second part. So this is why it is important for you. If you are complaining about the price of oil, or it's too high, but you are not complaining and you're not putting the effort into ensuring that the government of the day, come hell or high water, they fix all the 4 refineries, you're not serious. So I'm going to tell you straight up. If you are not part of the process whereby you are putting pressure collectively, exercising your sovereignty within your community, from your local government chairman to your state assembly member to your house of reps to your senators, collectively putting pressure on them that we are telling you to go back to the National Assembly and make this a matter of urgency for the refinery to be working right now. If you don't do that, you're not serious about your poverty that you're in. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. It is literally as simple as that. Keep looking at those powers, the powers I put on the screen. Those of you who are on YouTube, you can see it. Now, section 14(2)(b) is what I'm trying to tell you how you can use the powers. The participation by the people in their government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, what is the accordance with the provision? What is in accordance with the provisions of the constitution? The provision. So let me say it again. What is the central issue here? It is the provisions of this constitution. And what's that provision? The provision is what? Sovereignty belongs to you collectively. Because as long as you are a sovereign, you are in that land, you are in that community, collectively, you have the power to hold your government to account. But we have never been taught how to do this. And that is why I want everybody to have those words that you see on the screen. Have it on your phone to remind everybody in the community that collectively you are sovereigns. And until we have never been taught how to exercise those powers. And it's been in the interest of those who have been in power to prevent us from knowing this. Now We are lifting the veil. We are lifting the veil to make you be empowered within your community to be able to take control and improve your own life within your community without having to wait for a begging bowl. Because you don't need a begging bowl. You don't need a begging bowl. Let me say it again. You don't need a begging bowl. What you need is to stand up for your right collectively, and what is due to you will come to you by dint of the fact that you know those rights and you are exercising those powers. You know those rights and you are exercising those powers. And that is why our participation in our governance collectively is of such immense importance. Our collective participation, active collective participation in our governance, active collective participation in our governance, ACP, active collective participation in our governance collectively, ensuring that those in power, they do our bidding. In this case, those refineries that are not working, they are having a direct impact on all our lives on a daily basis. As I speak, if you are going to eat, you will need fuel because you have to go and buy petrol. If you're going to go to shops, you go to work, you need fuel. So this is something in fact impacting all our lives. So if it is impacting our lives, it is important we become active participants in our governance. The government, oh, the refinery is not working. You were elected to ensure that our lives were comfortable. The minute the refinery is not working, our lives is not comfortable. We are holding you to account. How do we do it? Section 14.2a. The sovereignty that we have, we now participate in our governance under 14.2c to hold them to account. We are instructing you, because we are the sovereign in every local government area. We stand together and we instruct you. We go back and fix that refinery. We are instructing you. We are instructing you as we, the people to whom sovereignty belongs. We are telling you that the infrastructure, the refineries are not working and it's making our lives a hell. You must fix it. No ifs, no buts. If you do not participate in your governance, Tinubu can only do so much. It is when you participate. You see, that's why, you see, when they tell you to come and pray in the church, pray 10 hours, you're wasting your time. If you go and pray in the mosque, you're wasting your time. But when you put your efforts together, make sure that the chairman, State of Assembly, House of Reps, the senators, they come to a meeting, and you are 400 to 500 of you in that meeting, and they have to listen, because sovereignty belongs to you in that community. Don't allow, you have to never do this on your own. Never. And that is what we are trying to instill in all of us here. I'm going to read to you, before I carry on with the other broadcast, I'm going to read to you the Yoruba version of this 14.2a and 14.2c, because I have that. I'm asking for my Biafran brothers, if you can translate adequately from this same constitution. I know we're going for Biafra. I'm going for Yoruba Nation. And if this refinery thing does not get fixed, we are justified in going for Yoruba Nation. If this refinery doesn't get fixed, because the government knows that's what they need to do, and they don't listen to you, then we are justified in going for Yoruba Nation, because they are not making our lives comfortable. They're not. So let me read to you the Yoruba version of this, because I've done it. 1 second, please. Let me just get that out. Where is it now? Just give me a minute. So please, those of you watching us on Facebook, if you are watching Citizen NY for the first time, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to Citizen NY on YouTube. Hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people. And of course, if you are giving stars, if you want to offer us stars on Facebook, we welcome that as well. Because what we're trying to do here is the work we're doing here. We need to wake up our people. This refinery thing, you cannot stand by. You cannot stand by as a community and wait for the government. You need to push the government to take action collectively using your sovereignty. Using your sovereignty. That's what we're here to wake you up to. Now, let me show you this thing. Let me I'm going to read that in Yoruba, because I want you to I want you to really understand that this is something that we need our people to understand and exercise. Okay, sorry. To exercise on a daily basis. You need to exercise the powers on a daily basis. Oh, I haven't done that yet. Okay, 1 second. I'm just going to quickly choose something here. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. I'll do that later anyway. Oh, I think it's there. Okay, that's fine. So, now, I'm going to read this in Yoruba. So, for those of you, I'm going to read section 14.2a and 14.2c in Yoruba for Yoruba people. So that the idea behind this is very simple. I want every Yoruba community and Igbos for that matter. If I have an Igbo brother, what I will do is I'll do a program where I'll bring my Igbo brother. I think I have somebody in mind. I've got somebody in mind I'll bring online. And we will translate that into that language so that you can hear in your language and be able to connect with this powerful message here. Because without you participating in this process, the refinery will not get built. It is all of us that have to be part of this process. And that is what I'm trying to wake up to make you understand. And we have the powers within the Constitution. It is just that for 24 years, they've hidden this from us. They've hidden it from us. But now, we are trying to wake you up. So the best thing you can do when you're watching this is to subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube, hit the notification button, and if you're watching us on Facebook, share the broadcast. Share it. Because these are really important information. Share it and encourage others to also join us on YouTube. That way, we can begin this process. Because this is going to be something for 24 years. Since 1999, none of us knew that we had these collective powers to hold our governors to account. None of us knew it. In all 774 local government areas. And we're trying to change that mental approach. So please, if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed to Citizen AY on YouTube, I urge you, go ahead, subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I really want you to help us grow the platform, reach more people. The power that we possess as a community collectively is something that we have never really understood. And I'm hoping that by having discussions like this and talking on a live broadcast, we can communicate the powers that we can use even within the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. Those two powers, 14.2a and 14.2c, they are powerful past piece of information that once shared in the community. And I encourage you to have those things, or those two sections on your phone. Have it on your phone at all times. Share it in primary schools, secondary schools, universities, adult education, workplace. Share it. Because we are all, even lawyers, doctors don't know what I'm telling you. They're not aware of it. They're not aware that by coming together like this, using those powers in the Constitution, that they could make a difference. We are here to wake us all up. Because that is, in the end, without us holding our governors to account, they will only make empty promises. It is by holding them to account, using this Constitution collectively, and I emphasize the word collectively, that we will achieve lower fuel prices. The work has just begun. Let's carry on. Okay, now, let us do this now. So I'm going to read this to you in Yoruba. Now, 14.2a is going to be in Yoruba and B as well, and 14.2c. So ẹni àṣẹ nínú ìwé òfin láti kópa nínú ìjọba ìlú. Nípa báyìí ó ti kéde pé ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tí ìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ń gba gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. It's a straight translation from English to Yoruba. That is because I want our local people, Yoruba people, to understand in their own language, and this is very important, that the powers that they need, they can express it in their local language. And that is very important when they are speaking to the officials, because the officials, they like to use the English to bamboozle you. They cannot bamboozle you when it's got the translation in Yoruba. I'm going to read it again. Here we go. Ẹni àṣẹ nínú ìwé òfin láti kópa nínú ìjọba ìlú. Nípa báyìí ó ti kéde pé ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tí ìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ń gba gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀. So now those of us who are speaking Yoruba, you will understand perfectly what I've said. I'm hoping that we can do the same thing with my Biafran brothers and my Middle Belt brothers, because that is the only way now that we can get our people to become active participation, because you need to know this. Now, the to be able to participate in your governance. Now, the second part of it is where you participate. And again, it is translated into Yoruba so that the people who are speaking Yoruba can understand that they have the right to participate in their governance by dint of these two sections of the Constitution. I hope that makes sense. Now, let's carry on. So, ó wà nínú ìwé òfin ilẹ̀ amúnisìn that was an extra. Ó wà nínú ìwé òfin ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tí a mọ̀ sí ó wà nínú ìwé òfin ilẹ̀ tí amúnisìn tí a mọ̀ sí Nàìjíríà pé ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè. Ẹ jẹ́ n kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ó wà ní inú ìwé òfin ilẹ̀ amúnisìn tí a mọ̀ sí Nàìjíríà pé abala 14 ẹsẹ̀ 2 sí ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. So, loosely translated, it means the participation by the people in their government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. But I've done that in Yoruba so that the people, our Yoruba people, can understand that they have the powers to hold their governors to account. All too often, because it's been in English, many people have been afraid to question the people that they see as, they call themselves constituted authority. They're not constituted authority, anything. The most supreme authority in the entire nation is the people. Do you get it? Let me say that again. The most supreme authority ever in the entire nation that we call Nigeria is the people. And it is expressed by the fact that sovereignty, each local government area has a sovereignty. That is where the power lies. And we need to explain that to our people so that they can begin to use those powers in the way that they should. We have never been taught this in school. I certainly didn't learn it when I was in primary school or secondary. None of us learned it. No way. We didn't. So, 1999 was when this came in. So how many people have, so that's 3 or 4, that's 2 generations now, 24 years. Yeah? And people have not been taught about the powers that they possess within their constitution. And you need to use those powers we need to begin to use those powers to now ensure that the things we want in our life, i.e. a functioning refinery, is a must. Those refineries must be working. We cannot no longer accept any excuse. Oh, we're doing all we can. They're doing all they can, but they're not fixing the refinery. So we are saying, every community, tell the government, we need you to fix that refinery. We need you to give us a regular update weekly on the progress of the refinery process. How much liters are processed on a weekly basis, on a live broadcast, and we need you to have a security around the refineries. They have to be because the people, the cabals, they are damaging the refineries and making the lives, impoverishing us, the people. I hope you're following what I'm saying. So I've translated that in Yoruba for those of you watching. Now let's go back to the second part of the broadcast with Isa Yunusa. Let's carry on. So let's carry on now.
It's not even a question of a cabal. The question of a cobweb of so many other people that are involved, including, of course, maybe watchmen.
Powerful to be touched. Hence, there is a need for some political will other than the laws.
Listen now.
Well, apparently, I think very strongly that maybe part of those who are supposed to be doing the needful to bring them to stop what they are doing are also beneficiaries of that system. Mm-hmm. It's not even a question of a cabal. The question of, a cobweb of so many other people that are involved, including, of course, maybe watchmen who are part of their employees. So it's and of course, most of the challenges, even in the Niger Delta, where we had challenges of youth, I mean, it's all because of injustice. Because if jobs were created in the Niger Delta, if jobs were provided, and if conditions of the quality of their life was improved, there would be no need to pick up guns. But you can see the chiefs, the government, the foreign oil operators, everybody is involved.
Did you hear that? The chiefs, the government, foreign investors, they are all involved in oppressing we the people. You see, they are united in their oppression of us. Let me say that again. They are united in their oppression of us, the people. But we, the people, we are refusing to unite because we've been conditioned to do so. The government have conditioned us by praying. Oh, you're a mosque. You go to the mosque, you pray. You go to the church. Oh, no, I'm not Christian. You are divided. I am telling you to focus on these laws, this constitutional powers that you possess, and hold on to it and begin to exercise it immediately. Not even tomorrow. Begin to exercise it in your community right now. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That is the power that you possess. There is no power more powerful than that, because your community is a sovereign that the government must respect, because they derive the powers and authority from each and every sovereign, which is your community. That is the power that you possess that you haven't been aware of. We're hoping to make you aware of that. Section 14.2c, of course. How to use that power is what we're going to, the intricacies of it now. The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. And what are the provisions? The provisions is, of course, 14.2a. You have the supreme power. There is no constitutional authority more powerful than you are. There is no constitutional authority more powerful than the community, the local government authority. There is none. Because that is where the federal government derives its power. It's from each and every local government authority. Without those powers, if we pull our powers, they have no power. You get it? It is time we begin to exercise those powers. I hope you are all understanding what we're saying here. I'm really, really keen, you know? Yeah. Okay, oh, yeah. Look, I understand you. Like I said, for me, we are currently in Nigeria. Now, I've said it. I'm still for Yoruba Nation. If they fix it, we can look at it. If they don't fix it, we are justified in going for Yoruba Nation. Either way, I'm still going for Yoruba Nation. Because right now, the refineries, the problem that our people are saving, whether you're Biafran or you're Nigerian, we are facing the problem of fuel scam, fuel subsidy scam. It is making the lives of everybody unbearable, and we need to address that. So I understand you, my brother. I'm not going to go against you, you know. No, I haven't removed it. Let me just check that. So let me just check that. I haven't removed it. I'll come back again. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to remove your statement though. So, but let me see. Okay, let me see. Anyway, I've not removed it. If it came up by accident, let me just check it. I want to read that statement again because somebody said something here, and I wanted to be very, very clear about that. Look, we are going for Yoruba Nation, and I'm still there. But right now, we need to be very, very clear about one thing. As much as I want my Yoruba Nation, our people are suffering right now. The question we should be asking ourselves is, what can we do to alleviate their suffering right now? Are we doing it? Is there anything we can do? And if there is, are we doing it? You know, so one of the things that I suggest that right now, our people, we are still under Nigeria, whether we like it or not. So, okay, let me see. I didn't know. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to take it off. It must have been by accident. Igbokwe, I didn't realize that I took it away. So let me just say that. I can't get it back in. Sorry. I didn't plan to do that. It was by accident. So you can type that again and I will try and address it. I don't know what happened there. It was by accident. So, but like I said, so we need to be very, very aware of this. Now let's carry on with the discussion. So right now, until we get Yoruba Nation, until we get a referendum, we can't leave Nigeria. So we need the process of what we're doing now. By knowing these powers, it will embolden our people now to now speak up and say, you know what, Nigeria is not working, we are going for a referendum. And when they start exercising these powers that I'm telling you now, they can now go and instruct their local chairman, your House of Reps, the State House of Assembly member, your senator, that look, we are telling you to take a message to the National Assembly and tell them that we demand for a referendum in the Constitution because nothing is working. Now that's the people exercising their powers. Up until this point, we haven't done so. And that's what I'm trying to drive at. So you have to do this in a gradual process. But let's carry on with what the man is saying here.
And the people are met more and more. The majority on the land today, you go there up to go to rivers, go to Bayelsa, and go into their local villages, and you see poverty.
You see?
When it's not supposed to be there.
Okay.
You see that? So poverty. The reason I'm saying this is, you see, the fuel poverty, the price of the fuel that we're paying is causing real poverty. And the poverty is there because, one, they are not allowing the refineries to work. They are importing fuel to steal our wealth. To steal our wealth. The same thing with when they say you pay for our own fuel in dollars. My people. That is like it's double whammy. Double whammy. You are paying for something that is yours, that should be processed on your own land. That's one. Now you have to now pay for it in dollars. So every time you use the dollar, it's like a service. You pay something on that. So you are paying double money for the same thing. And they're making your lives hell. By the way, those of you who love to flash dollar, I'm using dollars in party, you are cementing the enslavement of we the people collectively. Because in Nigeria, Naira should be the currency that we use with pride. Every time we use dollar and we flash it around at parties, and we're spraying, you will never ever see me. You will never, I'm saying, you quote me, you will never ever see me with dollar. I've never done it. Because if they'll give me, something was, because you see, it is a sign of enslavement. We are proud of taking the money that is used to take away. You know what the dollar does in Nigeria? You don't know? Okay, let me explain. You see, every time you use the dollar is taking away the wealth, the value from Naira all the time. Every time you use the dollar in Nigeria, don't forget, in Nigeria, in the law, it says that you should only use the only legal tender. The CBN report, go and look at it. The only legal tender you should have in Nigeria is Naira. Go and look at it. Let me find it for you. Those of you who are on, let me go and find it. So people don't know. See, this is what I'm saying. You know, people don't realize. You don't know. Let me show you. CBN on dollars. Let me just do this now. What is, let me just do this all. So I want to show you all what is the legal tender, the only legal tender in Nigeria. So let me just show you. And this is where we need to change our mindset. We don't realize what is going on. According to CBN. Okay, let me just go on. Right, okay. Okay. So now read this now. I hope many of you will understand. So when you are spending dollars in Nigeria, understand this. What is the legal tender in Nigeria? The currency structure comprises of 3 coins, denominations 50 kobo, 1 naira, 2 naira, 8 bank note denominations 5, 10, 20, 20, 1,000 naira. That is it. What is the legal tender? I'm just trying to show you. Okay, it's come back there again. Let me show you legal tender. So, I'm trying to show you something else again. So the Naira, in effect, is the legal tender. You see, Naira, legal tender in Nigeria should be like Naira. So let me just show you. Can I spend? What was the first legal? I'm trying to show you. Sorry, let me go back one step because it showed everything before. Okay, so let me go back here now. Yeah, that's it. So the Central Bank of Nigeria, listen to the words, though. The Central Bank of Nigeria to be the sole issuer of legal tender currency in Nigeria. It didn't say that the US is the sole issuer of legal tender currency in Nigeria. It didn't say the US, it said Nigeria. And what is Nigeria? What's Nigeria tender? Legal tender? Naira. But they are asking, people asking for payment on Nigerian soil for Nigerian oil in dollars is actually an offense based on what I've just shown you. But people don't know. You see, we need to get into this state of really understanding and reading what it says, reading the laws and understanding. So the reason I mention this is because when they're asking for the price of the oil that they're going to import, they say they don't want it in naira, they want it in dollars. They are taking the value out of Nigeria. So when somebody says, oh, I'm going to sell you processed oil, 1 million, say 10 million naira in value. They say, no. I don't want it in naira. Find it for me in dollars. You know what that means? You have to go and convert your naira to dollars. You will pay extra money on top of that amount. So you are going to pay whoever you're going to get the dollar from on top of what you also have to pay to the person that you're buying from who wants it in dollars. That means that your naira, any value you have in a naira, is taken away at all times. You are devaluing your own economy. This is economic madness. And you know what is really making my head. These are the same people. You will talk to professors, they will do this. Doctors, they will do this. Lawyers, they will do this. Scientists, and they won't even question it. The cognitive dissonance, the mental dislocation involved when somebody actually you don't think of the consequences of what you're doing with your own currency. You are willingly giving away more of your naira for less of the dollar, and that's impacting your own economy every day in every corner. But our government, because we're not really aware of what is happening, and that's why when you spend dollars at party, you are willingly giving money. And you know what they do? You know what they do in the US? With all this money that is coming in from other countries, because when you do that, once you get more of your naira, when you give more of your naira to get the dollar gets how can I put it now? It has more value. Now that value, they make use of that value in the US. How do they make use of it? It results in lower interest rates for the people of the US when they want to borrow money in the US. Because of us giving away our value of naira into their own economy, they can afford to give their own citizens loans at a cheaper rate at our expense. Oh, my people. Oh, it's time we woke up. When I think about all of this stuff, and that is why I can't, I am abroad. As oftentimes I get being told, I think about Nigeria all the time. Because I know the impact of what is happening to our people. The lack of connected thinking that have been put in our mindset so deep that we're not even realizing the impact. To buy oil, to buy processed oil, they now tell you, oh, no, we don't want it in naira. We want it in dollars. So they mean that, you see, the same for that 100 million, for that $1 million of 1 million naira, 10 million naira of oil you're going to buy. You have to put another, I don't know, 50,000 naira or 60,000 naira on that to now buy the same oil, because you are going to trade, you are going to go and look for dollar. So our own, and that's one. Number two, it means that we now are happy to view naira as worthless to us, even in our own land. So what's the point of being in Nigeria then? What's the point? What's the point of being a Nigerian? I hope this makes sense to you, Olu. I hope it's making sense. So I'm just here to really, enlighten us, wake us up, make us realize that there's a lot of work for us to do. Please don't forget to subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. You see now, when we come on the platform here, we don't come here for tito-tatil and, this one said, that one said. We are looking at things that are literally impacting the lives of every single citizen on a daily basis. And we are looking at ways in which we can solve that problem collectively. We have the power to solve this collectively. And we are hoping to begin to make us to look at our community as the perfect place in which we can build the spirit of community and collective effort to achieve this, So Victor Banjoko, why wasting your time? Let me stop here. Okay, Victor Banjoko, please don't be angry. Don't be angry. The reason is our people are suffering. Our people are suffering, Victor Banjoko. I know people are not going to like this. I know. The fact of the matter is the refinery, they are not working. And it means that we are having to pay extra. We're going to pay extra for something. You and I, we are paying for it. If you are abroad, Victor Banjoko, you and I, we are paying for that money. For every time that we are having to import, they're having to import oil. You and I, we will get a call from our family. Oh, we need money for this. So the rate is this one. You are paying for it. So until we can get into a situation whereby we put Yoruba Nation in place, we have to deal with what is on ground. So I haven't forgotten Yoruba Nation, no. I haven't. Look, I'm showing you. This is what I am. This is what I am. This is what I am. I'm Yoruba Nation. But I am telling you, if we just say we're Yoruba Nation and we don't care about what is happening to our people, then we are getting it wrong. We are getting it wrong. We are getting it wrong. We need to be involved and to understand the pains of our people. We cannot achieve Yoruba Nation without our people being actively participating in the governance to such an extent that they can now go forward and say, we want a referendum. So we are trying to show that steps. I understand and I appreciate that people will see it in a different way. But I am very clear in my mind where I am going. I want Yoruba Nation, long term. And by getting involved in this process, we are trying to push the Nigerian government to the point whereby it will fail the people they promise to serve. And once the people see that, they can then go for Yoruba Nation. That's the point that is being made here. Because right now, the government is failing the people. But we need them to be actively participating themselves to see it. Because they haven't been participating, they haven't seen it. Now that they're seeing it, once they be part of that process, they will be the ones going, you know what? I want a referendum in this constitution so I can break away. We need to do this in a democratic process. So those of you who are asking, if you put in a question, let me read what Victor Banjoko said. What is the essence of this show? How does this concern Yoruba Nation with Nigeria refinery operation? It cannot work. Why wasting your time and hours? Let me stop here. Thank you very much, Victor Banjoko, for that question. But I want to just take this time to just say something. For us to achieve Yoruba Nation, we cannot achieve Yoruba Nation via military means. End of story. It's not. We cannot. We neither have the means, nor the power, nor the nor the support in any way, shape, or form. We don't. And furthermore, Yoruba Nation, we have not raised 1 billion naira. I don't believe we've raised 1 billion naira anywhere. Please, if we've raised it, let me know. I've been part of this struggle for over 3 years now, since March 2020. If you have evidence that as a whole, Yoruba Nation has raised 1 billion naira, please let's have it. So that's on that front. So on a purely financial basis, we don't have the financial situation to even say we are going to go for Yoruba nation in terms of military means or whatever. I mean, it's not something I'm going for. I don't support that. I don't happen to believe that violence is the way forward to achieve Yoruba nation. I don't. I just believe that we have to do it via democratic means. The Scottish National Party is the way I prefer to use. They in the 1940 or 1917, 1918, 1920. They've been trying to go for Scottish independence since the 1915s. Now they've got autonomy in Scotland. What they now want to go for is for full independence. That's over 70 or 80 years. So we need to be very realistic when we're going for Yoruba nation. We've just started this 3 years ago. We cannot achieve Yoruba nation inside 5-10 years like that. It doesn't work like that. I'm a realist with what I'm being real. Victor Banjoko, I really want to achieve Yoruba nation. But we have to be realistic and pragmatic about our current situation. We neither have the funds, we don't have the everything else that you need to even to consider what you're saying. And it's just not something I would go for in terms of trying to go for Yoruba nation in that way. We need to therefore look at what democratic means. Now, how do we achieve it? How do we achieve this via democratic means? Let me just talk about this in quotes. So let me just put this up here for in case of those of you who are reading it. So that's Victor Banjoko. I'm just showing it. I don't mean to be. I'm not trying to be difficult, Victor. I'm just trying to, put this up as a point so that people can see that. Sorry. Let me just make that bigger if I can. Oh. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Sorry. Okay, never mind. It just went off now. It shouldn't have done that. Go back again. 1 second, please. That wasn't what I was supposed to do. Okay. I don't know why I did that, but I'll come back. I'll come back to it. But that's the question anyway. So for me, the question is this: to achieve Yoruba nation, we need to achieve it via political means, democratic means. And that means that for you to do that, then that means that you have to be involved in the current process. How do we get involved? Beginning to make people aware that they possess powers within the constitution that they must begin to use. Now, in using those powers, again, like I said, section 14(2)(a), sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. 14(2)(a). Now, it's now participating, 14(2)(c). The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, in exercising those powers to, for example, address the issue of refineries, when the refineries don't work, despite our people now participating and instructing the senators to go, no, I don't want it. And once the senators go into the Senate and they put in the request for the refineries to be built, and if it doesn't get built, the people would have learned something, that they can instruct the local the senators, the House of Reps, the speakers, and the State House of Assembly members and local government chairman, that this is what they want, and they need to take it to the House of Assembly, National Assembly, and they will get done. On that basis, they can now say, collectively as a sovereign in Yoruba land, we are going for a referendum. That is why we need to be part of this process. We need to awaken our people to how they will actively ensure that a referendum clause is inserted into the Constitution of Nigeria. Now you see why we need to be part of that process. And it's going to be a long process. Like I said, Scotland, to get to even autonomy, it took them over 70 years. Over 70 years. So, for me, I am for Yoruba nation. But I'm very, very realistic to know that we can't achieve Yoruba nation just like that. We need to wake up our people first. They need to be aware of the things I'm talking about. These powers that I'm talking about. So if you do want to, here we are. So that's the thing. I thought I lost it, but it's not. Okay, let me just make that smaller here then. Sorry about that. So anyway, that's the question you asked, Victor Banjoko. I don't mean to be, I'm just trying to just show people so that I'm not just talking anyhow. But For me, I'm for Yoruba Nation. I've showed the cap. I'm Yoruba person, and I'm not going to relent on Yoruba Nation until I die. I just want. It's just me. That's just who I am. Take it or leave it. That's who I am. It's part of me. I want to speak. Mo fẹ́ máa sọ èdè mi lórílẹ̀-èdè mi. Mo fẹ́ máa sọ Yorùbá nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Kò jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ó tán. It's what I want to do. But are we there? We're not there. Not yet. We need to work within what we currently have now to achieve what we need. So it's about achieving certain quick wins over time, and build the momentum. Remember, Biafrans, they've been at this struggle now since 1967. And where are we? Where are we with that? They are still going for Biafra, and they haven't stopped. So 2-3 years doesn't mean the fact that we're talking about this. For me, I'm clear in my mind. It doesn't mean I've given up on Nigeria, of the Yoruba Nation at all. If anything, it's making it clear. This is you see this refinery. If the government doesn't fix the refinery, then it is something that we in Yoruba Nation can use and say, you know what, you say you believe in one Nigeria, but one Nigeria, they keep making excuses, they keep importing oil when they could have used the same money to fix the refinery for you. You have a reason to support us in going for Yoruba Nation because the government is refusing to fix your refinery. You see, now you can win that argument from that point of view. It's about winning arguments. It's not about just saying absolute. No, it's not about just saying, oh, I'm for Yoruba Nation and that's it. You need to look at what is impacting our people. What is more likely to bring people to join us in the Yoruba Nation struggle? That is what I'm looking at. And how we can actually improve the lives of our people, get them to know the powers they possess to be able to achieve that Yoruba Nation. Because I guarantee you, we cannot achieve Yoruba Nation alone. We cannot achieve it in the 3 years that we've done this. We've made a lot of noise. People are aware. But without the active participation of our people on ground on a daily basis, it won't materialize. And what I mean by on a daily basis is this: when every local government area in Yoruba land decides that, look, we are going to instruct all our House of our Reps, senators at the same time, and state House Assembly members, governors, that we want them to table on the National Assembly a clause for referendum. We're not ready for Yoruba Nation. It's when they do that on the ground and every local government area is involved in that process to get it to the National Assembly. Now, that's when we now know the people are ready. Because we are ready to go for Yoruba Nation, those of us abroad. But the people at home, they are suffering. They are suffering so much, they haven't got time to even think about going for Yoruba Nation. People have told me that people at home now, they want Yoruba Nation, but the reality is that they know that they're in Nigeria. So they don't believe in it like we are taking it like this. Because they are suffering. They haven't got the time to think with clarity like you and I are thinking about it. They want to survive, to be able to eat a meal, to have 3 square meals, to be able to feed their kids, to be able to send them to school. That is the reality of what they face. So if we are going to bring them on board to Yoruba Nation, we need to address their concerns at that level. That's what I'm saying. Just saying Yoruba Nation alone is not going to solve it. We are going to have to address their concerns, and the best way is to get engaged in the current system. Yes, it's not something I want. I've said it. I want Yoruba Nation. But the reality is we are in Nigeria. And we need to work within those confines to achieve what we need to do. We need to use what we have to get what we want. I hope that makes sense. I don't know it all. I'm just being myself, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I hope you can understand that. And I fully appreciate that you have a different point of view, my brother. And I hope I've given you, I've spoken about this eloquently and as a clear terms as possible. And I hope in no way, shape or form have I disrespected your opinion. I respect your opinion. I respect your point of view. And I also, I can see the frustration in how you see things. And I don't understand that. I want Yoruba Nation. I want you to be sure of one thing. I want Yoruba Nation yesterday, but the reality is we cannot, on the current terms and situation that we're in, Yoruba Nation is not coming anytime soon. It's going to be a gradual process. We'll have to pass this from one generation to the next. I'm being realistic about it, but it's my passion till I die. That's it. Take it or leave it. It's my passion till I die. I'm not going to be, I believe in it. So, and I'm working towards that. So please believe me, when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about it from the point of view of the people who are suffering on a daily basis, the effects of the lack of refineries. Those refineries are the problems that is really hurting our families on a daily basis. The cost of transporting food is affected by refinery. The cost of powering your generator is affected by refinery. The cost of you going to work is affected by the refinery. The cost of you paying education is affected by everything you can think of. So to ignore it is not realistic. We need to meet our people where they are, work with them from that basis, empower them to begin to take control. We are too easy to give them fish. And when I say give them fish, we give them money. We give them, they want, and we run and we scramble and give them money just to survive. When if they work together, they can get more than that. They will get lower prices, petrol prices, to ease their concerns. And not only that, it will give them a sense of we can solve our problems, and that way we can achieve Yoruba nation quicker. I promise you. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to be, I hope that I'm not being abusive or anything. Please, my brother Victor Banjoko, I really appreciate you. And those of you others as well, my brother Igbo Kwe, I think, who spoke earlier on. I fully understand your passion for Biafra. But for me, we cannot achieve any of those nations at this point in time unless we are actively involved in the democratic process of waking up our people, making them aware of this very, very thing here, because that is the very thing. You see, if they have this information, again, I'm going to read it to you. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That is a very powerful statement right there that we need to teach all our primary school kids, secondary school, university, and adult education. We need to teach them all that. And of course, the second part of it, the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. You see, all of those two put together, then our people can begin to exercise those powers because they are currently within Nigeria. The goal is to go for Yoruba and Biafra nation. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. It is. But for as long as we're in Nigeria, we need to use these powers. And in using those powers, we are now able to participate in our governance to such an extent that the people on ground themselves, they will now say, you know what, we have these powers because we have sovereignty. The sovereignty of our area, we're going to use it to demand for referendum to be inserted into the constitution. Now, the minute they do that, then the reality, we are closer to achieving Yoruba nation and Biafra nation. That is how I see it. I hope that makes sense. But let's proceed with this podcast a bit more. So, let's listen out to more in Isai Yunuga.
That's the reality.
Yunuga.
Again, I keep saying the only solution is our active participation.
Exactly. We need to add active participation. You see,
our collective
active participation. Please.
14.2 and 14.2.
There you go. I'll remind you again.
Belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And 1042C, the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need those two powers activated in every single community, demonstrating how this can be, how they can use those powers to hold those elected into office to account to the people, and ensure that they do their bidding. And also start teaching all of this from primary school, secondary school, university, all tertiary institutions, all of it. And adult education as well, so that everybody knows that we have the powers, and it will be in our local languages.
Yeah.
I've translated this particular section of the constitution into Yoruba for people in Yoruba land. And I'm looking at my Igbo brothers will do the same thing, because these are powerful things that we need to use to begin to hold our governance to account. Enough of the talking, we need collective action.
Yep. So let's watch it now.
Current presidents as well, for a while now, has been the petroleum minister. Do you think President Buhari, while in office, was aware of this scam? Listen now.
Well, I don't know, because
that's Buhari there.
This man will say silence is consent.
Yep.
And he's the president anyway.
Yep.
So he must know.
Yep.
Because I'm wondering how he cannot know it's happening. He's the president of the country, and he has taken that responsibility. He was sworn by the Quran to protect life and property and properties of Nigerians. So you can't claim ignorance. He is in charge. He's in charge. If somebody was doing something wrong, he has to take responsibility as a leader. So if somebody was doing the scam, if a group were doing a scam with subsidy, and at the end of the day, these are the results, We lay the blame on him because he's the president. And we can't claim that he's not knowledgeable about it because he's the petroleum minister. Unless if you don't, because Nigerians, we don't want to speak the truth. We don't want to speak our mind because we are afraid. But reality, facts are facts. And we must learn to say it as it is. Otherwise, we're almost like dead on arrival.
It would seem then that the subsidy scam was as the subsidy, well, the fuel oil petroleum sector was as I say, rotting as the financial system, according to the current president. In cleaning up the rotten financial system, as the president has said, help Nigerians understand what he could have meant by a rotten financial system.
Well, when you say something is rotten, it's really bad. It has gone bad. Because when something is rotten, it's almost like beyond repairs. But it can be fixed. You see, the Nigerian financial system, look at the financial market, that is the capital market and the money market. When you talk about, when Mr. President talks about the whole thing is rotten, he's saying that the banks are rotten. Also, on the flip side of it, every other thing that has to do with financial intermediation too is suspect. The regulators are not doing their job. The operators are not doing their jobs. And to confirm Mr. President's assertion that it's rotten, how much do we have now in AMCOM as toxic assets?
Listen.
Maybe you don't know the figure, but I'm assuring you it's in excess of 3 trillion, 4 trillion.
4 trillion.
A Nigerian asking what is the source of that funding of the toxic assets?
Toxic assets. 4 trillion toxic assets.
Taxpayers' money.
4 trillion toxic assets. And we are the ones paying for it. So you see, if we do not participate in our governance, they will just keep mortgaging us and mortgaging us and mortgaging us. That's why I keep saying active participation is of immense importance. Listen on.
Yes, money.
This
is why I say
bank
this.
That buys all those bad loans from banks who created
This is
the bad
why.
loans, and they give them liquid cash to continue their business. They buy up this thing and keep it in Ancon to sell, and that one too is another scam.
You see? Another scam.
So the rot is beyond anybody's imagination.
You see?
The president is somebody to sympathize with.
You see?
For some of us that know the entire inside dealing of the system, you sympathize with him, go and pray for him 24 hours. But the beauty of his is that he knows the problem. He has a firm grasp of the problem. At least he's 50% now. The next step is just the solution. Let him get the right people to do the job. And I'm sure he will be carried out of it.
You know, you mentioned NNPC in that while you were talking about the subsidy and then that report. So perhaps did you avail us a copy of that report much later? Because I imagine they would like to also have a thought on that.
I'm assuring you, I don't carry any government document to my house. All government documents are left where they are supposed to be.
What is the title of this report?
It's a criminal offense even for you to carry a file. You see people carrying files to their house to work. It's a criminal offense under public service regulations. So any document that is
see, that's the problem. But I wish you would give us the documents, but
who chaired the committee?
I chaired the committee.
Oh, okay.
you see.
But the president was the chairman and the vice president Jonathan was the deputy chairman.
So, but you should be able to at least tell us why. This is the thing. This is what I don't like. That report is something that all of us need to at least be able to be able to dissect what's going on. So sending us a wild goose chase is not on. This is something that a report should be kept and we can be able to access that. Does anybody have that report so we can look at it? Please don't misunderstand. I'm for Yoruba Nation still, but right now we're in Nigeria and we need to make sure that Nigeria begins to benefit our people in our areas. I want it to benefit Yoruba people. That is my focus.
And then of the Special Committee on Economic Meltdown. That's why you see the meltdown, Nigerians never felt it because we really worked hard. The then new governor of the central government.
You can't be talking that we're suffering. I don't accept that. We're suffering now.
solution.
Okay. As we wind down on this financial system, yes, you say the president is aware, he knows, just to take certain steps to solve it. But we also saw that they announced floating of the naira, and we saw that the dollar, many expected, will rally, naira will rally against the dollar. But today, we've seen several reports that it appears as though that forex scarcity persists. It means the supply side has not been addressed. So no matter how much of floating off the currency that we may have, it will still be a challenge, because now we're reporting the naira against the dollar going at 770, which is contrary to what many expected, having announced their initial policy.
Well, maybe sometimes Nigeria has short memory. We are forgetting from where we are coming from. Where, the dollar was maybe 8 years, 9 years ago, and where it is today. And we're not asking questions as the way this thing was just leapfrogging. Nobody was asking questions, they're just watching it happen.
That is what I mean. That is what I mean by asking questions. You see, we need to participate because we have the power within the Constitution to participate in our governance. It is our duty collectively. So I'm here to remind you all, to remind us all, that our active participation in our governance is of immense importance. Our active participation. And I will keep putting that there to remind us. We need to do that collectively. Because if we don't ask questions, then they would assume that, yes, we support, which is not what we want. We need to hold them to account at every step of the way. Active participation is a must. It's of immense importance.
Well, something must be happening. Nobody's asking a question. And the former CBN governor, or the suspended CBN governor, had almost 8 regimes of forex, disposal.
8 regimes.
Nobody ever asked a question. Nobody cared. Until when something happens, people start apportioning blames and so on and so forth. But the strength of a currency depends on part. It depends on the strength of your economy, that is strength of your reserves.
Listen.
Now, if you look at the foreign debts, our external debts against our external reserves, they are almost running neck to neck. So if the strength of your currency is derived from the strength of your reserves, where are the reserves? And that's why you are encouraged to export based in so that you don't import. You build up your reserve and your currency becomes stronger. So our reserve base now is threatened.
We need to really look at this de-dollarization as an issue. I'm going to come back and talk about that in depth again, because there's a report that came out from the US that actually exposed a lot of their plans and what they have in plan for us as Africans, what they deliberately do into how to shore up the dollar so that they can export their interest rates for us to carry, whilst they take away our profits from our own land via currency. These are the things that we need to really look at. We need to de-dollarize as quickly as possible. That's another policy that I expect to have a comment from President Tinubu about. But we'll come back on that later on.
And of course, people are into panic buying of dollars, because the dollar has been seen as another gold, a store of value.
Well, that's it, yes. But that's what I mean. We need to know that Naira should be a store of value.
So people and all these laundered funds, the stolen money that we see people stealing from our treasury, is laundered into the dollar.
Exactly.
So there is a chase. I mean, there is that kind of a rush to buy dollar, and there's scarcity. So if we simply go by the elementary laws of demand and supply, when the supply is not there, the demand is very high. What do you expect?
So how do we make a way out of this? I mean, there was a time when Nigeria had that exchange thing with the yuan. Would that make any difference if we have different currencies by which we can rally the naira against, not just the dollar as it is?
Well, you see, currency management, especially when it comes to do with international currencies like dollar, it's a currency of trade, currencies for reserve, because it used to be gold before we migrated to the dollar standard after the Second World War. So you can see that since it has become gold, everybody is. But you see, because of the world politics, now the politics have changed into the politics of currencies. And that's why today you have the BRICS.
There you go. I spoke about that before. You see, I'll come and talk about that in greater detail.
What have you. Coming as a club of 8 countries, including South Africa, and some more countries are also joined, because they want to exit the dollar.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
see a dollar as a dominant currency. They see the dollar
Listen.
as international currency. And anytime there's a problem between maybe China or Russia with America, this is your MasterCard. The headquarters is in the US. Visa card is America. And the same thing with the other card. Is you swipe like this, the information goes through. So if they want to break down your economy, they can break down your economy.
This is what I'm talking about, yes.
Breaking down your finances. If you have reserves, they block the reserves. So, and it has happened several times. So these are some of the politics that are involved in international currency, and now it's very deep. The East now wants to have their own, and they are trying to get a block. And at the same time, the West and America are still fighting, because America will want to retain the supremacy of the dollar.
Okay.
But it's a difficult thing for them now.
So I asked that question, and indeed you mentioned where we're going to, as regards this cards, the virtual cards we use
Yes,
for
the
our transactions.
MasterCard, the Visa card, and
The suspended CBN governor was talking about introducing a domesticated card, where
That's another thing.
a
You heard
homegrown
that?
card for all our transactions. Would that make any difference? I mean, bringing it back home.
no, but that is not it. You see, once you swipe, unless otherwise Nigeria has sufficient funds, I will reach a point that I believe will turn it around. If you have money in your domiciliary account, you cannot withdraw it.
Well, no, I think that new policy, you think it's going to change? I mean, will it change anything?
Inshallah, it will. And why is because the president is looking at that risk. He has already, appointed an expert, who is, I know very well, finance guru. And of course, he can advise him on that aspect. There has to be so many things that have to be in place. And there is no problem that doesn't have a solution. Since you have the capacities that are there that turn around things, a lot of things we can do to reshape the economy and start life all over again. But already comatose.
All right, just as we wind down on this, I mean, a lot of talk on the former CBN governor. Does this insulate the former finance minister?
Well, you see, the act or the law that, gave birth to the present, dispensation in the central bank. The central bank is governed by a law. I think
So
the law has reduced the powers of
we're
the
just
minister.
those of you on Facebook, we're listening to
the
Isa
central bank.
Yunusa.
But
Yunuga, I
she
think.
can't claim ignorance because she's the finance minister. The debt management office is under her. There is no how the debt management office will alert the minister that, look, we are overborrowing. The threshold of our borrowing is 40%. And today,
Isa Yuguda, sorry.
we
Yeah,
have reached
Isa
a level
Yuguda.
whereby we are
So-
42-43%. And it's very scary. You have to go and alert the president that all these unnecessary borrowings that we are borrowing is going to...
I mean, as a former MD of a
so
bank.
therefore, I mean, she has some questions to answer.
Okay.
too.
Well, as a former MD of a bank, do you think that the bank themselves too, the CEOs or the banks generally, have questions as well to answer on the system?
Of course, somebody, I told you earlier, the toxic assets in the region of 3 to 4 trillion. Who created them? Is it not the bank executives? Are they
4
not walking
trillion.
the streets today with very flashy jets and so on and so forth? While their balance sheets are rotting, when they get rotten, they transfer the garbage to AMCON in connivance with Central Bank. Central Bank dish out taxpayers' money to them.
Wow.
And on and on. Read the history of financial crisis.
Wow, this guy knows.
80% of it was resources banks.
Wow.
All right, we'll anchor at this point with former MD now and Inland Bank, Mr. Isa Yuguda is a former Minister of State for Transport and Aviation, former Governor of Bauchi State and the Chairman, Board of Trustees for APC Professionals Forum. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Chairman.
So, in closing, before I wrap it up, what is said there, Issa Yuguda, what is said there, you know, toxic asset. The country is holding 4 trillion naira worth of toxic assets. 4 trillion. That's basically bad loans and bad investment by banks and things that they've simply given to the government put it into the books of the government via AMCOM, and then the government pays them cash. Look, the system is rotten to the core. That's why our participation in governance is of such immense importance. I hope people will realize that it is this is what we've been talking about for quite some time. We will urge you all we need to be actively participating in our governance on a daily basis. In fact, it must be something we must be doing, using those 2 powers to be able to hold our governance to account. Without that, nothing can change. And it is through participation in our active participation in our governance, we will be able to now put in place, instruct those elected officials to go down to the National Assembly on our behalf and put on the table the motion for a referendum where everybody in Nigeria will decide if that they want to be in Nigeria or move away. You know, so these are the kind of things that we are looking at and questioning. So I hope you found this beneficial. I hope this discussion has been worthwhile to you. Please, that doesn't mean the fact that I'm engaged in this doesn't mean that I've given up on Yoruba Nation. No, it's just that right now we know we have to be realistic. Right now, the Yoruba Nation is not going to materialize in the next 5 days, or a week, or a year, or 2 years, or in the next 4 years. It's not. The only way is by working together, encouraging our people to participate in their governance through holding them to account, using Section 14(2)(a). Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Section 14(2)(c), the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need to combine those 2 things to be able to get our people to begin to start holding their governance to account. And once they start doing that, it becomes second nature. We have not done this for 24 years. For 24 years, our people have never understood that they had the power to hold their governors to account. Ajimobi was saying that, do you know who I am? A constituted authority. There is no more powerful constituted authority than this office of the collective citizens, the sovereign. We, the sovereign, are the ones to whom the power belongs, and we need to understand that and begin to exercise those powers. And we can use those powers to now go for such a thing as a referendum in the constitution. And it is in teaching our people to do that we can finally achieve Yoruba Nation and Biafra Nation. I firmly believe that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't relent. We need to continue. As you're watching Citizen the platform where we speak truth to power, help us subscribe. Do give us stars if you can whilst you're watching us on Facebook. I know there's a lot of people and the numbers are low, but that's fine. The key objective here is to please go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Help us reach more people. We really need to grow the platform and to continue to reach more and more people. So please do take the time to listen. Help us help us reach more people. Help us spread the message. It is our participation in our governance that can actually ensure that we get the good governance, we get the refineries. For example, we need refineries working. That's the only way we can reduce the price of the oil. And we have to get involved in that process. Getting the National Assembly through active participation in the local government area, by holding the local council, state House of Assembly members, the House of Reps and the senators, and indeed the governors, holding them to account, telling them, instructing them that we need them to go to the National Assembly and instruct them that they must get the refineries working to reduce the price of oil that is impacting the lives of our people daily. That is active participation. Active participation. Until we do that, nothing is going to change. Unless and until we do that, sorry about that, there's a fly, something disturbing me here. Unless and until we do that, I do not see any change in what's going on. So I really want to urge you to please let us take the time and effort to really continue to spread the knowledge and awareness within our community. We really need our people to begin to be part of this process. I know very much that many people want us to just be in Yoruba Nation. We are not in Yoruba Nation right now. We're not. But we will achieve it over the long term. We will do. if we continue to awaken our people, get them used to the idea, knowing that they have to participate in their governance. Without their participation in governance right now, we will not be able to have the point whereby they can insert the referendum in the constitution, and that's what we're about. Finally, one thing I'd like to say: the de-dollarization thing is really happening. Those of you who are looting our money, taking it to America, one day you will wake up and you will find that the dollar has lost a lot of value, because many countries around the world are now beginning to reject dollar as a legal as a currency of choice for them. You know, it's a fiat currency. It's a fake value. Many countries, China, Russia, India, China, Russia, India, South Africa, and Brazil. You know, so and many others are saying no. Kenya, for example, they are trading in shillings. Many African countries are beginning to de-dollarize and use their local currency. That is what we need to begin to look at as a nation. We need to hear the thought process of President Tinubu on this discussion. For example, in my view, we need to be really looking at linking our naira with gold, and of course we have gold in quite a large quantities in our as a mineral reserves, and that's something we should really be exploring at this point, because the dollar is rapidly losing its value, and it's having a major impact on the U.S. economy. They are no longer. What will happen is currently the U.S. are able to export their inflation. So, for example, when everything is when the things are overheating in US, they simply export it to other countries around the world via all of the various things they're doing. I.e., they would impose sanctions. They will do all of this stuff. It's all a part of the strategy of the economic strategy. War is part of the economic strategy. You need to really understand what is going on. It is not just about just numbers alone. It's by exporting. When they do that, that means that a lot of people will now have confidence in them, and then they will invest, because people are knowing that, okay, right, you know, and then they will afford. They pay off their bad debt by imposing the difficulties on other countries. And we need to really understand that those of you holding those currencies, if those looters, those cabals, one day they're going to be money. Your money, you will lose that money forever, and it will be lost, and the US will not. They will not be there for you. And what is sad about it is that all that money that you've looted, you've prevented us, the citizens, from benefiting from our resources, and you simply let those foreigners to benefit from it at our expense. And we're even worse off as a result, and no infrastructure, no development, impoverishment, and so on and so forth. So de-dollarization is a thing. A lot of more and more countries are rejecting dollars as a trading currency, and we need to be preparing for that. In fact, the whole of Africa should be looking at having one currency, in my view, and that is another thing to be talked about in more detail later on. But I'll come back and talk about the de-dollarization and do some discussion at length around it. But I mean, as we speak today, the UK economy is in real dire straits at the minute. The interest rates are going through the roof. The government is actually trying to put plans in place to help people for a whole year to not pay their interest rates. And these are difficulties that many people are not talking about. So we need to really understand that our currency, we need to get that currency working. I'm saying this because we are living in that nation. The minute we get for Yoruba nation, of course, we'll be talking about a different currency. But the realities of what we face now is what we must address above all, to really help Yoruba people get through these really difficult times. And of course, again, I reiterate again, the refineries is the real issue. By the reason why they are importing all this crude oil, this processed oil, is because they have deliberately ensured that the refineries aren't working, so they can take as much money out under the guise of buying processed oil, which is all a scam. You know, we need to be having a nation with 200 million people must have minimum of four functioning refineries. China has, US has, UK has. And I don't understand this the economic madness that they believe in, that we don't need our own refinery. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. If you live in it and the so-called market forces, it's not market forces. This is a rigged market. So we call on everybody, please join hands. Our priority is how to ensure that government, Tinubu's government, puts a task force together to get all the 4 refineries working. Kaduna, Warri, Port Harcourt 1, Port Harcourt 2, those 4 refineries, get them working to then reduce the price, because once you're processing the oil in Nigeria, that means that the price at the pumps will go down, because it doesn't have far to go. There's no excuses for marketeers and all this subsidy scam to be looting our funds out because of oil and everything else. It's all a lie. This is all fraud. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're of course watching Citizen Wire, the platform where we speak truth to power. I hope you found this beneficial. If this resonates with you, please do share. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course, give us the thumbs up. You've been watching Citizen Wire, the platform where we speak truth to power. I'll be back later on. I'm probably going to restream this at some point today, and I'll be back later on to give you with further updates. We'll see what's going on with other issues. And of course, we touched on the issue of the electricity tariff going up for businesses. From the 1st of July, electricity prices are going up. Again, this is what we're talking about. If you do not participate in ensuring that the refineries are start functioning, then you're not really serious about holding your government to account. You need to be part of the process at local level, instructing your local government, your state House of Assembly members, your House of Reps or senators to go to the Assembly and National Assembly and put this as top priority for the refineries to be working in our local government areas, in our nation. The 4 refineries must be fixed by the federal government. That is something it is impacting all 774 local government areas, and we need to take part in it. We need to participate. I urge you all. This is not something to ignore. It is impacting the cost of your living is impacted by this. So if you ignore it, the price will just continue to go up. The refineries must be fixed. They must be fixed as a matter of urgency. We mustn't relent. That is the only way we'll have a long-term sustainable growth and future for the coming generation, to bring down the price of the oil, of the fuel that is currently being put in your petrol and in your cars. So we urge you all, the government, ensure that they fix the refineries. They have regular weekly meetings about the updates about the progress of the refineries, and then tell us how much refined oil is processed. Finally, provide security. They need to have security around the four refineries. They need to have tight security around the refineries, because it is obvious to us that the cabals, who are the ones ensuring that the first camp subsidy went off as long as possible, they are sabotaging our refineries. They are literally sabotaging our refineries, and until we take collective action, nothing will change it. I really want us to understand. What did you not do? Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate. Please do help us share this broadcast. Please, everybody watching me, I have not in any way neglected Yoruba Nation. If anything else, I'm working towards it. The question in the song is asking you, the nationalization. Yes, so long-term goal is for Yoruba Nation. It is. But before we get there, we have to first of all make sure that our people right now, they begin to participate in the governance. That is why I'm showing those things you see on the screen. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. You need to know that, not because you want to remain in Nigeria, but because you need to use those powers to be able to get to the point whereby you exactly end the naira fraud notes. Exactly. So you need to get to the point whereby we now be able to now use those same powers to now insert a referendum inside the Nigerian constitution. And end the petrol naira. Thank you. Well said, my brother. So I really appreciate that. So I'll be back much later on. I'm going to have a little bit of a break now. I hope you found this beneficial today. Please do share the broadcast, and of course, always remember to subscribe to Citizen Wire, hit notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. So how do you go ahead and do that? Let me just remind you a brief message, so that those of you who haven't already done so, you can go ahead and do so. So subscribe, hit notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. Help us with more people. We really appreciate your support. Leave comments, and I hope this program has been informative enough for you. And if it resonates with you, we urge you to please share it. The most important thing is we need to be active in we need active participation in our governance collectively. That is the only way we'll ensure that the price of oil drops. By active participation, we put pressure on the government via the National Assembly to fix the refineries, because it is what it's all If all 774 local government areas said the same thing, the government will have no choice, Tinubu will have no choice but to ensure that those refineries are fixed to ease the pains of the people. Without the refineries being fixed, we will continue to suffer, and that's a plain fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I'm about later on. Please do share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and of course, finally, give us a thumbs up. Let us hear your comments, leave comments. We are grateful. And those of you on Facebook, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to go to Citizen AY on YouTube and, of course, subscribe. And of course, if you want to give us stars, we appreciate that. Help us reach more people, grow the platform, leave comments, and we will discuss some more. Thank you so much for now, and bye. You've been watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Why did you not do, my brother? I greet you. Wale Banjoko, thank you very much for joining us. I'm really grateful for your support, and we will continue to talk some more, and I hope we found this discussion engaging, and we'll have more discussions about other topics, no doubt, in due course. Thank you so much, and bye for now. Bye. Bye for now. Bye, guys. Bye. So, bye for now. Bye.